WPHT3, Philadelphia. From the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter. Always live on the free Odyssey app. It's Dom time. Now, Dom Giordano.
There you go. Don't even like his going to Atlantic City. No, not even a little bit.
No, it's his song, though.
No, the band is definitely better. Thank you. But, Dan, I have
this
a...
is horrible news they just revealed.
I have a worse thing to give you here that Bruce Springsteen is doing this. Governor Christie, this is cut 25, Dan. I don't know if you've had that. It just came in. Governor Christie was on a sports show in New York. And Governor Christie went nuts, calling the coach of the Detroit Lions classless for running up the score on the Dallas Cowboys. Here's the reaction of the Lions coach about Governor Christie. Cut 25.
1 sec. Just coming in now, and I see it. There it is. Thank you, Henry.
Do you have a problem personally of Campbell rubbing it in with, an eligible receiver situation in the second half when he's up by 4,000 points, which he did with his offensive lineman just to get back at the Cowboys from a year ago? Do you have a problem with that as a fan?
No, that's Dan Campbell. He's got no class. Never has. So
oh, really?
It's fine. It's fine. Look, Dan Campbell, that's the way he is. And what goes around comes around. There'll be a time when.
So you were bothered. So you were bothered by it. Okay.
Well, I just think it was. Look, and I think that it's misdirected. Dan Campbell's angry because the referees got a call wrong in the game a year ago. Well, then run that play on Roger Goodell. The Cowboys had nothing to do with the play.
I think that's enough for listeners right there, Dan. So this guy, I wish I had a chance, Dan, and you were producing then. No, you would have tagged in. Then we'd had when I had the Governor Christie interview that when it blew up after the Obama thing way back then. This guy is just obnoxious and insufferable. Every day he grows more so. He's right up there with any number of other Trump haters, but the Dallas Cowboys, how in the world does a guy growing up where he does here be such a nudge toward the Cowboys that
sloppy Chris Christie?
Yeah, there you go. All right, so here is, and I thought it was Maria Shriver. Maria Shriver surfaces yesterday. I thought it was here in Malvern. It was in Michigan. Some, person that showed up, they support Harris, something like that. They wanted to know if they could ask a question. Trump is taking on questions, I'm watching it right now, from 100 Latino leaders in Miami, asking all kinds of things. Nothing's determined. They're just asking questions, and he's answering them. Here's how it sounded with Maria Shriver, though, trying to assure the people that showed up to be kind of human props about she was going to intuit their questions to ask Kamala Harris.
We have some questions from the audience that we will get to. I have a few questions. As I said, I went around to meet several of you, and I heard some questions that some of you had. But universally, many of you said the reason I'm here is to see bipartisanship. I want to see what it looks like so I can go home with information. So you're going to get that, okay? So let's get going. So sit back, be comfortable. You're not, unfortunately. We have some predetermined questions, and hopefully I'll be able to ask some of the questions that might be in your head. I hope so.
Maria Shriver servicing the Kennedys, just another outfit that you just cannot get rid of. She is wretched. She should have never had a job anywhere. She's just a progeny of this whole Kennedy enterprise. Can you imagine? Predetermined. And you're going to see what bipartisanship looks like. Oh,
hopefully I'll be able to ask some of the questions that might be in your head. I hope so.
All right. 855-839-1210. You can get on board. So we got a lot of great people coming on today. Some of them one of them talking about Delaware County and voting irregularities, where suddenly the progressives out there in Delaware County put in a big number of these early voting spots at the last minute. Why did they do it? Because they put them in Democrat areas out there in Delaware County. They're determined to win, but they're not going to win. Sean Parnell will be here today to break down the numbers that are happening with Republicans taking to mail-in balloting, which I'm very happy about. Very happy that people are listening to that. I want to play you a little bit, though, and I give a lot of credit. Laura Trump is going to be on the show tomorrow. Laura Trump went on by herself on The Breakfast Club. Charlemagne the Great, the God. I don't know why I went the Great, because it was Charlemagne the Great at one point. He changed it to the God. There was a Charlemagne in history. Holy Roman Empire. And there were several.
Was he a god?
And, he was treated like a god, yes. All-time great name. So she goes on there by herself, and they were civil, but I mean, this is not easy. Here's a question, 19. She talked about the date with Eric Trump, which I thought was endearing. She kind of said in the first date with Eric Trump, I thought, Trump, do I really want to go out with a Trump? Even though it's Eric Trump, who's the mildest, we all think, of the Trumps, right? And she talked about they talked for 4 hours. They had drinks. They didn't order, but they left a big tip for the waitress. Here is cut 19 talking about how in the world is Trump a threat to democracy? And Chuck Schumer sits there and yucks it up with him. Here's Laura Trump.
As a quote-unquote politician.
Yeah. Well, he was friends with everybody. I mean, I think if you look back at Donald Trump's history, he last night we were at the Al Smith dinner, and he was right there next to Chuck Schumer, and he said to Chuck Schumer, who's obviously a Democrat senator, he said, I gave Chuck his first check ever when he was running for like assemblyman or something. So, yeah,
That's why Chuck was laughing so hard. Remember we asked why Chuck was laughing so hard? Chuck was laughing, boy.
I don't be liking the optics of that. Only reason I say I don't like the optics of that is because when you hear people like Chuck Schumer say things like Trump is a threat to democracy, but then you're sitting next to him yucking it up. Why would you be yucking it up with somebody who you consider a threat to democracy?
Well, you have to ask yourself that question, don't you? Maybe it's all scare tactics. Maybe it's a lot of fear mongering. Charlemagne. What I can tell you is I know Donald Trump. I have known him for 16 years, and Chuck Schumer's known him a lot longer than I have. And I think he knows full well he's not a threat to democracy. And you don't even have to take my word for it. Look at what he did when he was in the White House.
All right, so Laura Trump going on Charlemagne's show in New York. Now, it just shows you the effort, people going all out around this. And it's working. I mean, I'm looking at a survey today that I saw it this morning, and I went and pulled it. I just wanted to check. I didn't think it could be real. The survey is a Suffolk poll just out this morning, and they are lean a little bit liberal, maybe, if anything, or down the middle. They have Trump down nationally 45 to 44, which is excellent for the Republican. The national poll doesn't speak to too much at all. But here are the internals to this. They have it Harris with black voters, 72%, Trump 17%. And I know people hear that and they think, well, that's not good. Of course it's good. Of course that is tremendous because of the fact that usually they may not get into double figures, the Republican. That's a big uptick, 17%. The shocker is with Latinos. In the Suffolk poll, President Trump is beating Harris. 49% of Latinos support Trump, 38% back Harris. I don't see how she wins if that figure is anywhere near accurate. And I am shocked, given the image portrayed of Trump, given the border rhetoric, given all that, how in the world is Trump ahead 49 to 38? There's only one group out there that should be ours that is not. You got to face it, and we have to whittle away with this somehow or another, and that is white women in places like suburban Philadelphia. Abortion. I don't like Trump's red ties, his style. He's offensive, my kids. Yep. If they were in the Republican camp, because on paper, any number of them are moderate Republicans, something like that, Trump would win, not a landslide, but it would be comfortable. But face it, they're not at this point. It's startling. How in the world is Trump leading with Latino voters? To be close would be epic. But to be leading, that is very, very hard to believe. One other bit of good news, and we'll start to take your calls too. I'm so glad and we're trying to get more information on this. I wish we had it. Prosecutors now have charged a Philadelphia man with threatening to kill and skin a political party operative recruiting Election Day poll watchers. Now, I think this could be a guy threatening the poll watchers on the Republican side. The prosecutors say that John Courtney Pollard threatened a state political party operative, vowing to skin you alive. He was arrested Monday in Philadelphia. He was charged with vowing to kill and skin a campaign operative who was seeking volunteers to work as Election Day poll watchers. The Inquirer says that they don't know which party either the guy or the party he was going after. But based upon his background here, I think this guy is a Democrat. Stage manager for theater productions here, most recently several shows by Philadelphia's Quintessence Theater Group, has been a registered Democrat in Pennsylvania since at least 2022. So I'm not going to carp that they won't reveal which party the guy who was threatened is. But I want to commend him. Finally, this is exactly what we should be doing. People making violent threats, that's not freedom of speech, skinning you alive and all that. Bring them in. Let's see under the law what happens. So we're going to follow this closely. Dan, you might want to text Linda Kern, see if she knows anything more about it. But it's all murky. They won't reveal which party was threatened. I think it sounds like Republicans who were recruiting poll watchers. And this guy threatened to skin them alive. And the feds actually brought him in and charged him. I would like to see hundreds of things done like this, thousands of them. We got to stop people on either side. It's not just one-sided. You don't get to make death threats. You make death threats, we're going to bring you in. We're going to get to the bottom of this, and you might be charged with something serious. You don't get to just blithely, I'm going to skin you alive. Threatening to kill him and skin him alive. So, again, I think this is a Democrat that was arrested, and I'm happy, not just that's unusual, but on either side, if we have Trump people doing this, bring them in. Got to put a stop to this. You don't get a free shot. You don't get to threaten people. We have laws against that. All right, coming up, RFK Jr. weighs in perfectly. Wait till you hear what he tweeted. Boy, I'd love to talk with him about McDonald's, the McDonald's over in Trevose, and health. What he said about what's in that food, well, while not scolding people, he said something completely different. This guy's fascinating. I do hope he becomes the Health and Human Services guy. It would be that might be the most revolutionary thing that would happen. I'll read you what he tweeted out on it. And the federal student loan forgiveness reaches 44,000 Pennsylvania teachers and other, quote, public service workers. Why are they getting their loans forgiven? These are people making more than the people forgiving their loans. Why do we continue to do this? Look, I taught for a number of years, still teach part-time occasionally. Do I think teachers are more noble than a small business person listening who's giving people a job? No. Many times, I wouldn't let some of them walk a dog. I don't think they're more noble than anybody. What's the most noble profession? We might argue somebody who's a minister. Is it the military? Is it cops? Is it firefighters? We'll get to all that. Side question, though. And I think this was Henry's mainly, with Dan chipping in. The portal is now open in Love Park, all right, where you can non-verbally communicate with people in 3 other cities. So somehow or another out of that, I'm trying to remember the trail from yesterday, we came up with something something that would not, or person, someone or something that would not fly in Philadelphia. If you're trying to communicate about Philadelphia, this is never going to fly here. We know how Philadelphia is. So I'm taking off the board, sadly, a Republican mayor. Not going to happen. The millennium, I'm giving it another 100 years. I still don't think it's going to happen.
You should run for mayor, Don. We can make it happen.
Oh, man. Can you imagine that battle? You don't know what I would love to do. Can you see that debate?
Get Scott Presler knocking on doors.
You know what? With Scott Presler, Dan, and you quarterbacking it, oh, my God, what could go wrong?
Yeah, I'll do the press. He can do the campaign manager stuff.
And DJ, I'll give him a financial incentive for every voter.
He'll be like, what's his name over at Big Dom over at the Eagles. He'll be a security manager that actually does a lot more than just security.
And I'll send Roe out there. I won't campaign. We'll just send Roe out there with cookies.
It'll work. Let's do it.
It'll work. Yeah, Maisie was the head of finances for this, too. Okay, Maisie.
Yeah, remember, right. Well, who's backing it is the big question.
Well, Elon Musk.
It's a lot of money to do something like that.
Elon Musk will tap in.
Oh, there it is. Yeah, we can get Elon.
All right, so I'm saying Republican mayor. Dan, let's start with you today. What's yours won't fly in Philadelphia?
We talked about this a little bit the other day, and I think it's true. A second sports team for the same sport will never fly in Philadelphia. I think the dedication is too dedicated to one individual team that if you dropped another baseball team in Philadelphia, it would be laughed out of town.
Imagine if you dropped another football team.
Oh, are you kidding me?
Oh, my God. They might come and just tear it down. We're not doing it. No.
That'd be awesome, though.
And how about something they've been trying to get to work for decades in Philadelphia? It won't stick. It won't stick, Dom. That being stop signs.
Oh, I thought you were going to say
I know.
The double-decker Schuylkill.
I know you thought I was going with the double-decker Schuylkill, but stop signs, Philadelphians will never fully embrace stop signs. They'll always do the Philly stop, the rolling stop, and never fully stop at a stop sign.
That's me with both feet and still
100%.
Henry, what's yours?
Yeah, I'm going to stick with sports here. I'm going to go with big contracts and poor play. I mean, how many times over the years have we signed a free agent?
Right.
They've come in with all this hype and expectations. They hype themselves up. They hype the team up. And they get out there and they fall flat on their face. Or if you're Andrew Bynum, you don't play at all. So, that's just something it doesn't fly here, but it's going to continue to happen.
All right, 855-839-1210.
I want one more, Dom, because I want your opinion on it.
Good.
Because I disagree with this one as an answer, but I think it could be said a stadium in downtown Philadelphia in Center City.
Yeah, that's not going to fly if I have anything to do with it.
I can piggyback off that. What about a Temple Stadium?
There you go.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. Neither one of those are going to fly. Where are they going to put it?
We'll see.
All right.
North Broad.
It's 855-839-1210. You get in. Coming up, I want to tell you what's happening with that McDonald's. They're coming after them on public health. That's what the deep state does in city government or state government. You got some health violations here. Watch for that. And RFK's explanation of health and McDonald's, what he says is unhealthy about McDonald's that you will not believe, doesn't scold anybody. He doesn't say, look at me, I don't eat at McDonald's. So how do you watch out for health without scolding people? All right, 855-839-1210. Jump in here on Talk Radio 1210.
Kale and Company, weekday mornings, 6 till 10.
SNL. So they brought back Alec Baldwin, but not as Trump. They brought him back as Brett Baer.
Just thinking about it right now, I can actually visualize him looking more like Brett Baer than Trump.
Good evening, I'm Brett Baer, and to clear the air, yes, I do look like someone.
At least give it some effort, dude. You should be glad you're not in the joint right now. Does he have the most punchable face in Hollywood? That little perked up face. I just can't stand that guy.
Not a fan.
No.
Start your day with Kale and Company, weekday mornings 6 till 10 on Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, and the free Odyssey app.
If you're still waiting for a sign, here's another one. At California Psychics, we reject 98% of the psychics who apply to work for us. So we only connect you with the best. That's how we can guarantee if your reading isn't life-changing, it's free. And right now, new customers receive 20 minutes for just $20. If that's not a sign, I don't know what is. Dramatic sound effect incoming. Experience the joy of certainty at CaliforniaPsychics.com.
Wow, honey, have you seen the electric bill?
Yeah, it's out of control. But have you heard of Navien tankless water heaters?
Tankless? How does that even work?
Well, instead of constantly heating and storing water, it only heats water when we need it. So much more efficient than our giant tank heater.
That sounds great. Let's look into Navien.
Already on it.
Imagine all the hot water you need only when you need it. Bulky tanks are history. Navien high-efficiency tankless is the future. Compact, wall-hung units free up floor space, lower energy bills, longer life than tanks, and a 15-year warranty. Find out more at tanklessmadesimple.com.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-700-6898. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-700-6898. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-700-6898. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. Call 800-700-6898. 800-700-6898 or biglou.com.
This season, get premium tech that inspires joy from Dell Technologies. Bring projects to life with the XPS 16. It delivers supercharged processing for enhanced productivity and freedom to express yourself. Performance-class Dell PCs with Intel Core Ultra processors deliver a dedicated engine to help accelerate AI. Enjoy free shipping, Dell rewards, and expert support. When you get a Dell PC with AI, it gives back. Shop now at Dell.com/deals.
This is an ad for BetterHelp Online Therapy. October is for wearing masks, but sometimes we hide more often than we want. Take off the mask with BetterHelp. It's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. Just fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist and switch therapists at any time for no additional charge. Visit BetterHelp.com/healthieryou today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/healthieryou.
This is Larry Steinhaus with Investor Schooling. Are you ready for retirement? Have you prepared everything you need? Well, in Investor Schooling, we will teach you ways to better prepare for your retirement using real estate and the stock market. But you need to learn how to do it right, and that's what we teach. At Investor Schooling, we sell nothing but education. Come to Investor Schooling and learn how to have a better retirement. Go to investorschooling.com and RSVP right now for this Thursday's class at 7 o'clock. Go to investorschooling.com. That's investorschooling.com. This is Larry Steinhaus with Investor Schooling. Are you tired of hearing about the recession that's coming? Are you prepared for it? Well, listen, at investorschooling.com, we're going to teach you ways to prepare for the recession that you didn't even know existed. We're going to teach you strategies on how to use real estate. We're going to teach you strategies how to use the stock market properly. That's right, you can even make money in the stock market when the stock market goes down. Hey, go to investorschooling.com and register for a free class this Thursday night, and you will learn all of these techniques. Go to investorschooling.com right now, RSVP for this Thursday. We'll see you there.
Have you subscribed to our YouTube channel yet? Do it today at 1210 WPHT.
All right, Dom Giordano Show. We're tracking this story and might have something for you a little bit later on about this guy who was arrested for threatening to kill and skin alive somebody leading training for poll watchers. Thank God. I mean, this stuff is against the law. If we really want to do something, we ought to have highly trained people and more of them bring these people in that are making death threats. It's not a First Amendment right to do this. You want to put a stop to what's happening here? This is a start. Arrest more of these people. Arrest 100 of them, 1,000 of them. I don't care if it's 10,000 of them. You don't have a right to make death threats. How have we lost that? Or, I don't know. How are we tracking these people? Well, they got one guy, allegedly. All right, now, RFK on the thing with McDonald's tweeted this. This guy's good. All the stuff going on with Trump and McDonald's over here in Trevose, right? He says fast food is a part of American culture, but that doesn't mean it has to be unhealthy. Oh, really? That would be unhealthful, but okay. I'll skip that.
It's unhealthy. It's unhealthy. Come on.
No, it's unhealthful.
No, is it really?
Yes. You're unhealthy, but the thing that makes you it is unhealthful. Doesn't help your health.
Harmful to health.
There you go.
Yeah, I didn't even know that was a word.
And we can make better choices. Do you know that McDonald's used to use beef tallow to make their fries from 1940 until phasing it out in favor of oilseed oils in 1990. The switch was made because saturated animal fats were thought to be unhealthy, but we have since discovered that seed oils are one of the driving causes of the obesity epidemic. Interestingly enough, this began to drastically rise around the same time fast food restaurants switched from beef tallow to seed oil in their fryers.
So good. Are you kidding me? They used to use beef tallow?
Beef tallow,
oh,
yes.
Man.
People also enjoy a burger with fries on a night out. They're not to blame, and Americans should have every right to eat at a restaurant without being unknowingly poisoned by heavily subsidized seed oils. It's time to make frying oil tallow again. MFOTA. Look what this guy does now. He doesn't scold anybody, but he gets in on the whole thing here with McDonald's. He doesn't tell them you can't eat McDonald's. He says once in a while, okay, yeah. And he then brings it back to the stuff that's put in that may be misguided. So why don't these companies use beef tallow? I think they were afraid of the federal government with it. He's making the argument, essentially, that if he's in charge, you'll be able to eat a French fry with beef tallow versus the seed oil.
I mean, the cholesterol is going to be crazy.
Yeah, but I think he's making the point here on obesity. And a little bit that I know, the seed oil is more dangerous than the other.
Yeah.
So what he's doing here is he's trying to show helping Americans in this whole complicated thing of nutrition while not scolding them, not yelling at them, you can't eat at McDonald's. Now, you know, how many days a week, how much fast food, you got to know if that's what you're going to do, there are going to be complications from that. He's not saying that, but I really like this kind of approach, that there are things put in foods for various reasons that seem to be. Now, I'm still a fan. I still think kids don't get enough exercise. They don't play enough. They're not running around enough. You can't blame beef tallow or seed oils for being a fat kid. He might differ on that. Come on, Tom. It's the seed oils that did it. So Dan is our resident expert on fast food. Dan, you like the beef tallow?
I just imagine it's going to taste fantastic. I don't know if I've ever had beef tallow, but could you imagine like frying fries in bacon grease? I'm assuming it kind of has a similar savoriness to it.
Yes.
Oh, are you kidding me? It's go back to it, please, or at least offer an option like super fatty beef tallow fries or something like that. Because I can't imagine it's healthy for you, but like you're saying, like. I'm a guy that for the longest time was chewing tobacco, right? And I switched to vaping. And just because I made that switch doesn't mean that vaping's good for me, right?
Exactly.
So, like, these seed oils are probably worse for you than these beef tallow. And I
got to say this. I like a nice French fry. But after watching the fryer and Trump there and all that, I'm not eating French fries for a while. Oh, my God.
No?
That turned you off that much?
Really?
Well, how they're dousing it. The oil. Yeah, I mean, I know.
It's incredibly unhealthy. It's fantastic.
Right. I know what they're doing. But I don't have to see it. You know, I can make an exception, right?
You don't want to know how the hot dog is made.
That's exactly right. Or the fry. Yes. I'm not going
Apparently,
for
I'm wrong about beef tallow, and it is allegedly healthy. I have not done any research, so please do your own.
Yeah. So, but I'm just amazed at what Kennedy comes up with that's different than anybody out there. This is from Elise Stefanik's next here in a second. This from the National Review. This McDonald's report shows why people hate the political press. Now they're going after bringing the public health department in on this McDonald's because they say Trump didn't wear a hairnet. Trump also didn't wash his hands. Now, I doubt that. They don't know that, but they're trying to claim that. And some other thing he didn't do. And they claim this place has had public health violations before. Well, you know, public health codes and how they enforce them are many times political. Joey Vento got fined for wearing too much jewelry when cooking cheesesteaks. They came to get him. I showed me the fine thing. Excessive jewelry, cooking cheesesteaks. How much jewelry are you allowed to wear? So I'm hoping that this McDonald's will be okay because they're zoning in on him. They want to get even because of Trump. All right, Congresswoman Elise Stefanik is coming up. She just released an open letter with colleagues calling on Columbia University to go after this anti-Jewish, anti-Israel group. But we're going to talk with her mainly about Trump and the closing argument. She's next here on Talk Radio 1210. Let me tell you about Captain Chucky's Halloween next week. Don't let mealtime or party planning frighten you. Call or just stop into your nearest Captain Chucky's. Pick up that fan favorite Smith Island Crab Cake Jumbo Lump. And then there's the mega colossal crab cakes, all delicious. Check out the variety of homemade soups as we get into colder weather, and perfect time for all the other offerings. Desserts, sides, appetizers, they're all there. Football viewing, Captain Chucky's perfect for that. Several choices of breaded, non-breaded crab cakes, desserts, soup, sides, appetizers, highest quality ingredients with Captain Chucky's. They're Gulf shrimp. That is the huge hit. It's the secondary star after the crab cake. It's always wild caught, never farm raised. And my favorite, those delicious Dom rolls. Got to stock up. You should get 10, 20 of those a week at least. So visit Captain Chucky's today. There's a location near you. Go to WeLoveCrabCakes.com, WeLoveCrabCakes.com. Headed to the Jersey Shore, Captain Chucky's at theshore.com.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hi, I'm Dr. Peter Stahl, board-certified urologist and senior vice president of men's sexual health at HIMSS. In my 12 years of practice as a reproductive urologist, I've helped many guys with ED. And it has never been more convenient to treat than it is right now, thanks to HIMSS. It really wasn't easy before. You had to take time out of your day, come to a physical office, and see a specialist like me in person. Now, through HIMSS.com, you can get world-class sexual health care and a full range of treatment options for ED through a 100% online process. It starts with a free assessment from a medical provider licensed in your state who can determine if ED treatment is right for you. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. So don't wait. Join the hundreds of thousands of guys who've gotten help for their ED through HIMSS.
To start your free online visit and find ED treatment at up to 95% off brand name prices, go to hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit.
Weather sponsored by Budget Blinds.
Near record warmth is in the forecast today. We'll have plenty of sunshine with a high 83. The record high is 83 for Philadelphia. Tonight, another cool night, mostly clear, low 56 for the city, cooler out in the suburbs. And the warmth continues on Wednesday, plenty of sunshine with a high near 80.
Ready for fall? Budget Blinds is your one-stop shop for blinds, shades, shutters, custom drapery, and motorization. Visit budgetblinds.com for a free in-home consultation and the only no questions asked warranty in the business. When you schedule your consultation, ask about their special radio offer.
See Joe Conklin's comedy show at the Sellersville Theater in Sellersville, PA, Saturday, November 1st, with Norm Clark and Vince Valentine. For tickets, go to joeconklin.com. joeconklin.com!
Wesley is a truck driver.
I drive a truck, and I love what I do.
A truck driver with IRS troubles.
They told me I owed them $43,000.
It got really bad.
Quite a few letters in the mail. They were talking about wage garnishment, coming after my house, my car. Yeah, they don't play around. I seriously thought that I was going to lose everything.
One sleepless night, Wesley finally made a call to Optima Tax Relief at 2 a.m.
Kind of figured I'd get a machine, but I didn't. I actually got to talk to an actual person in the middle of the night.
He found just what he was looking for.
Oh, they were great people. You need a team of people that know what they're doing. Optima Tax, they know what they're doing.
Optima Tax Relief came through with flying colors.
I saved an incredible amount of money. Happy don't even come close. I was absolutely overjoyed.
Take Wesley's advice.
If you're in any kind of trouble with the IRS, call Optima Tax Relief. Don't trust anybody else.
Call Optima for a free consultation. Call 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Talk Radio 1210 WPHT, broadcasting from the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter.
All right, big issues, big guests. It's always a treat to bring in New York Congresswoman Elise Stefanik, particularly when she's here to talk President Trump, but also something that really she's shown. College campuses, anti-Semitism. There's a development there. Congresswoman, welcome back to Philadelphia. Thank you for joining us.
Great to be with you.
I saw this headline today, and I'm so glad it dropped on the day you were on the show, and I want to link it to the Harris campaign ultimately here. But kudos to you and your colleague, Joni Ernst, and others for calling upon the FBI to investigate this anti-Israel group at Columbia again for allegedly endorsing violence.
This is part of a trend that we have seen, that the Biden and Kamala Harris administration have turned their backs on not only our Jewish community across the country, but specifically Jewish students. And you have foreign entities, foreign dollars flowing into our higher ed universities that are sowing this anti-Americanism, anti-Semitism. It needs to be rooted out from its core. So I was proud to work with Senator Joni Ernst on this, and this is why congressional oversight is so important, to make sure that our higher ed universities abide by their Title VI and civil rights requirements to protect Jewish students on campus, which they are not doing. And President Trump laid out very specifically in multiple speeches when it comes to combating and condemning anti-Semitism that he will hold these universities accountable on day one. And of course, we're working to ensure he has a Republican Congress and a Republican Senate to work with him on that.
Now, the connection to me, and again, I'm open to hear the Harris campaign come up with the rationale. She had hecklers, and nobody, I don't care if they're heckling for the Trump side or not, at two events. One was pro-life, that was the second, and the first one were these people that disrupt everything about alleged genocide in Gaza. She says with that group, the young man has a point there as they're being ushered out. The pro-life people, her statement was, you don't belong here, you belong at the smaller rally down the street, meaning the Trump rally. What do you make of it?
It's a disgrace, and how unbecoming, and she is unfit for holding the highest office in the land, that is President of the United States. When it comes to her agreeing with that pro-Hamas talking point, accusing Israel falsely of genocide, and the fact that Kamala Harris agreed, it is absurd. It should concern every single American. Frankly, it's an un-American statement, because the reality is it's Iranian-backed Hamas and Hezbollah who are the terrorists, who are committed to pursuing genocide against the Jewish people, against the state of Israel. And let's remember that just over 1 year ago on October 7th, we had the bloodiest day for the Jewish people since the Holocaust. So as Prime Minister Netanyahu said in his speech to Congress, which, by the way, Kamala Harris as vice president skipped when you're required to go as vice president, he correctly pointed out that it is the terrorists that are advocating for genocide, not just advocating, but that are killing Jewish people, Israelis, because it is the terrorists who are calling for genocide. Israel is defending its right to exist. Israel has every right to its self-defense, and at every opportunity, Kamala Harris has turned her back on them.
Yeah, and I think you and I know that you can only carry your true, hiding your true self for so long. In a moment like that, spontaneously, that's what she comes up with. Wanted to talk about something we don't hear a lot about, but you're on this. I follow your Twitter, et cetera. Due to the lack of border protection, we're seeing incursions now in New York and other places, the northern border with Canada.
Absolutely. And when we talk about the border crisis, it's both the southern and northern borders. And I represent the Swanton sector, which is one of the hottest spots in terms of the skyrocketing of illegals crossing. I represent 150 miles approximately of our northern border, and we have had more illegal crossings in 2024 than the previous 17 years combined, including individuals on the terrorist watch list. There is not a 50%, a 50 times increase in the illegals have crossed on Kamala Harris's watch compared to the Trump administration. So it has been a catastrophe. And the challenge we've had is the Border Patrol officers have been transferred initially to the southern border. I raised the alarm about that we need our personnel on the northern border. But again, this is a testament and a result to Kamala Harris as a failed open border czar that has led to this crisis. So every district is a border district, every state is a border state, and on day one, President Trump will issue executive actions to secure the border.
We're talking with Congresswoman Liz. That's my next question here. I almost said Liz Cheney because I wanted to ask you about it. Elise Stefanik.
Nope, that's not who you're talking about. I replaced her.
No, that's exactly right. I caught myself. I've had her on the show back in the day. This is years ago, over the years, and the dad. And my theory is that the biggest Trump legacy is we're not going to get involved in these unending wars. But you served in leadership. She was in leadership around this. She also signed the amicus brief on the Dobbs case. She signed on the pro-life side, yet she's out there with Harris, who is one of the most progressive on this. What's your thought on what is it with the Cheneys that we're seeing play out?
Look, she felt entitled to these positions because of her last name, and I think she has shred that family's reputation because she has put her personal issues, her personal vendettas against President Trump. And it's not just her hatred against President Trump. It means she really dislikes the American people and doesn't believe that the American people determine who their elected officials should be. That's why they ultimately sent her packing in the state of Wyoming. But look, she said previously that Kamala Harris is a tax-hiking, gun-banning, anti-Constitution, and that's the fact. So that is correct. And now look at the fact that she is campaigning with her. She is no longer a Republican. She said that herself. And I think the American people are smart. They see through this. And President Trump is running a great campaign. He is gaining support among all Americans from all walks of life, all different backgrounds, Hispanic Americans, Asian Americans, African Americans, men, women, first-generation Americans. This is the America First movement is exactly that, America First, and that's why it's resonating. So Kamala Harris is running a losing campaign, bringing out these surrogates who are not gaining her any votes, and it's just the joy is gone in the Kamala Harris campaign. Remember that when she said she was going to campaign on joy?
Yes.
It is not joyful when they're looking at these poll numbers, and we cannot take it for granted, though. We cannot be complacent, and in states like Pennsylvania in particular, this is going to be determined in the state of Pennsylvania. So everyone needs to get out and vote. That includes early voting. We need to make sure everyone turns out to vote. So bring your friends, neighbors. You've been able to vote early since September in the state of Pennsylvania, so please continue to make sure that we get out and vote.
Parting question for you, too, and it's of the essence of a closing argument. Is the best closing argument for Trump, going back to it again, are you better off than you were 4 years ago? That still, to me, is legendary, and I think it always works.
I agree. That is the closing argument. Look at how strong the economy was. Look at the secure border. Look at the peace we had around the world, the strongest military because President Trump rebuilt the military compared to where we are today, the worst economy in our lifetime, the highest rate of inflation, the wide open border, and look at the catastrophes around the world. This is a clear choice this election cycle. Voters are smart. They see through it, but they need to turn out to vote to save this country and elect President Trump. They also need to flip the Senate and elect Dave McCormick, who is a longtime old friend of mine who is running a great race to defeat Bob Casey, and I think he does it. And then we have key congressional races in Pennsylvania. So all of the votes are going to matter. Vote Republican up and down the ballot to save the country.
Congresswoman, thank you very much. Thanks. Come back again, please.
Thank you.
Congresswoman Elise Stefanik here. That sort of was my next question written down about Liz Cheney. It was on my mind. Sorry about that. That's the Trump legacy, this stopping these unending wars. That will be one of the biggest things he's turned around for the Republican Party. You know, speaking of the Senate, again, it's not just Casey Jr. It's Slotkin, who's running in Michigan, Tammy Baldwin in Wisconsin. They're all running ads connecting to Trump on tariffs and things related to that. They're trying to tie themselves to Trump. I think Dave McCormick has more than a reasonable chance. I think they're neck and neck. And Casey's never had to face anything like this. So touting Trump and touting tariffs, yeah, we're with Trump on that. You don't see that. Pennsylvania is going to go our way if we keep up what Elise Stefanik just said, and that's mail-in balloting. We're going to talk with Sean Parnell. He's in charge of it in Pennsylvania for the Trump campaign. He's here at 1:30. How is that going? All right, let's go to the great Joe of Exton. Boy, this is like an early curtain call today.
Yeah, what's going on here?
Yeah, he's got some big engagement coming up, maybe flying over to Florence for a pizza or something. Let's go to Joe on the side question, something that would not fly in Philadelphia. Joe, welcome in.
Yeah, Tom. The early bird gets the worm.
It's true.
True. Yeah, it's true, Joe. Yeah.
You know, Philadelphia would never think of disbanding or abandoning the folk festival called Mummers Parade.
I don't know, Joe.
Oh, I'm with him on this one.
You think so? Dom, do you think we're to the point now where we're close to losing the Mummers Parade, though?
No, still not yet. But, Joe, with all deference, I'm in Dan's camp here. 20 years ago, if I were critical of the Mummers Parade, they would have, strung me up. But now, people are in agreement. But I still don't think they'll get rid of it. Too much tourism, Dan, attached to it.
Yeah.
Kind of. Not that people come that day, but it's the face of it type of stuff.
It's really lost its popularity, which is so sad to see, though. It's not what it once was, and it's got to get back to that level.
Thanch you, Joe. That is
Such a great tradition.
Yeah. Well, I just think you have a whole year, Dan. Can't we come up with something other than the Macarena every year?
That's a good point.
I mean, it's just repetitive beyond belief.
Are you volunteering yourself as a choreographer?
No, my God. I'm more echoing your point here. All right, that's a good one by Joe. So we're looking for something that will not fly, won't work. Someone or something here in Philadelphia coming off this portal. If you've been by the portal, what are people doing? Right away in New York, we know what they were doing there, since it's nonverbal. Yeah. God knows if there were a verbal component to it.
Listener Newman Price said it's pretty active over there. He actually stopped by. Yeah, took a picture and sent it over at Dom Show 1210.
The Earl of Tacony says that McDonald's was sued for claiming that their French fries were vegetarian or vegan. That's why they got rid of the beef tallow. So what I would do is this: let them claim.
What else have vegans ruined?
Yeah, let them claim they're vegan or at least vegetarian. You know me; I don't. If I like it, I work it in there. Let them claim that, and let them go back to the beef tallow. I got to tell you, RFK Jr. is off the charts in some ways, but he's clever, too, at the same time. He's a weird combination. All right, 855-839-1210. Coming to your calls next here, and the portal gives us our side question today. Hey, for years, I've talked about the health benefits of Rescue Natural Supplements after making their omega-3s part of my daily routine. From supporting heart health to providing pain relief, they provide essential nutrients that impact our bodies in so many ways. Listen to this recent comment from Carol. She says that triglycerides are at an all-time low, but these increase my well-being. Joint pains and muscle aches have decreased too. People like Carol have trusted Rescue with their health goals, and now it's your turn. For a limited time, use the code OMEGA50 for an exclusive buy one, get one free offer on any of the 7 Rescue omega-3 choices. To get this special radio offer, call 800-26-ALIVE, 800-262-5483, or just use that code online, res-q.com, res-q.com. Remember, use that code OMEGA50, OMEGA50, to buy one and get another Rescue Omega-3 absolutely free.
Hey, Dawn Stensland here. You've heard me talk about Chapman Windows, Doors, and Siding for years now. How much I love the work they've done in my home. Love the new patio doors. If you're thinking of updating your front entry door, right now is the perfect time. For the month of October, Chapman is giving you the chance to receive a $1,000 credit toward a new front door. You simply send them a photo of your current front door. Everyone who sends in a photo gets $500 credit toward a new door, while the person with the door most in need for some TLC receives that $1,000 in credit. An updated front door can really change the curb appeal of your home and increase the resale value. Whether you're looking for a single door, double door, door with side lights like I have, their experienced project consultants can help you choose the perfect new door for your home. If you or somebody you know are looking for windows, doors, siding, shutters, hardware, just give them a call or text 610-431-8898, ChapmanWindowsDoors.com, ChapmanWindowsDoors.com. Tell them Dawn sent you.
I'm Tahisha Way, New Jersey's Lieutenant Governor, with a message for New Jersey voters. You have 3 voting options in the general election. Vote in person on Election Day, Tuesday, November 5th. Vote early in person Saturday, October 26th through Sunday, November 3rd. Or apply for, complete, and return a mail-in ballot. Whatever you choose, vote by 8 p.m. on Tuesday, November 5th. Details at vote.nj.gov.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Do you find yourself stuck in a timeshare? Get the real facts about the timeshare industry and your options for cancellation. Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, has put together a free information guide that reveals the secrets the timeshare industry doesn't want you to know, including the 5 ways to get rid of your timeshare. Call now and get this timeshare cancellation guide absolutely free.
Call 800-837-5050. That's 800-837-5050. 800-837-5050.
We know you're uncertain about psychics. Is this fortune teller you found on a forum legit?
Your one true love is...
me! That's why California Psychics reject 98% of the psychics who apply to work with us. We guarantee if your reading isn't life-changing, it's free. New customers receive 20 minutes for just $20. So experience the joy of certainty at CaliforniaPsychics.com.
Hey, it's Rich Ziola. You know that Dr. Mike Veneria is my friend. He's my dentist. He's the master of dental implants. Did you also know that he hosts an annual Veterans Breakfast every year to thank our men and women who have served our country? And he also hosts a free community shredding event so you can shred all those confidential, sensitive documents so nobody hacks your identity and tracks you down. Saturday, November 9th, Veterans Day weekend. Your opportunity to come out, say hello to our veterans, thank them, get some coffee, cake, donuts, even breakfast pizza. Breakfast pizza, what's that? It's a real thing. And if you've been thinking about getting that beautiful smile you deserve, reach out to my buddy Dr. Mike Veneria. For 12 years, he's been recognized among his peers as a master of dental implants. He's a guy who cares, he gives back to our veterans and our community, and he's my entire family's dentist. You won't be disappointed. So come out on Saturday, November 9th for the Veterans event and free community shredding event. Go to veneriadental.com for more information. veneriadental.com. I'll see you Saturday, November 9th at his Cinnaminson office, veneriadental.com.
Miss any of the Dom Giordano program? Download and follow 1210 WPHT on the free Odyssey app.
All right, Dom Giordano Show. Side question because of this portal here. Hit us with something that will not fly in Philadelphia. Joe says getting rid of the mummers. Okay. Or someone that you just don't think this is going to change in Philadelphia. I'll take another one off the board. I took off a Republican mayor. How about covering up Columbus? Will that ever happen again? I don't know. There's a lot of hatred out there, but I don't think it will.
Yeah, I don't think South Philly would let it happen again.
And Jim Kenney remembered fondly by anybody at any time in any way.
There's got to be someone out there that... I don't know.
That's why I'm still hoping, Dan. I have to say, even if we got the people we're working on nationally, professionally, that would be big. But if Jim Kenney, to help push Kamala Harris over the line, would come on the show, that would be bigger.
I'm here with George Picchetto, and he just received a ruling from Judge Paula Patrick that the box is coming off.
There you go. And, Dan, that was one of your greatest. I never in a million years. You have George Picchetto running in with pieces of
I really wanted to see if there were any pieces of the box left because I wanted them as mementos.
There you go. I have that proudly in the Dom Dome. Robert in Ben Salem, this is a trend. All the heavy hitters calling in early today. They're getting worried. They don't want to be at the end. Hey, Robert, good afternoon.
Hey, Dom, Dan, it's good to talk to you guys today. The early bird might get the worm, but it's the second rat that gets the cheese, Dom.
A shot fired at Joe?
Yes.
Well, not a shot at Joe, just playing on what he said. I love Joe. But Charlemagne actually was the king of the Franks 300 years after the Roman Empire, but he was named protector of the papacy by Pope Leo III, so there are ties there.
Okay.
But he was an amazing figure, Charlemagne. He did some amazing things. But my answer to the side question, and Henry helped me flesh it out a little bit. Any honor pay system where, like, you go and pick up firewood and you leave the $10.
Yes.
I don't think that would fly in Philadelphia. And like I said to Henry, that's kind of a shame because there's a lot of people in Philadelphia that would go by the honor system, but there's enough that wouldn't, so that it wouldn't be a feasible thing to do in Philadelphia.
I'm going to expand a little further here and bring it a little to the time, the Halloween, when you have the little pot that's out there that says with the thing, just take one, like based on the honor. Yeah, that's never going to work in Philadelphia.
and they have an empty bowl by 7:30. I know.
Well put. Thank you, Robert. That is a really good one. Two really good ones right out of the box. Kevin in Bucks County on the McDonald. People, I'm getting more stuff on the beef tallow here.
I do this too.
Yeah, I'm telling you, RFK Jr., that's his genius. He beautifully put it. He's not saying don't go to McDonald's, but he's talking about what's in it now versus what used to be in it. And I don't think beef tallow is the greatest thing in the world, but the seed oils are worse. You're not getting that anywhere else. Either you get somebody scolding people and say never go to McDonald's, or you have people ignoring why they came to this decision. Let's go to Kevin in Bucks. Hey, Kevin. Afternoon.
Hello, guys. How are you?
Good.
So, well, first of all, Five Guys does peanut oil, so you got to watch out for, that's great stuff, but allergies. What we do is, as immigrants, well, my parents, we'll render bacon. So we'll cook the bacon, and you render the fat, and you keep the lard. You still run it through a sieve, and you just use just a little spoonful instead of butter. You're not going to fry stuff in it, but you'll fry, not deep fry. Cook your eggs.
There's nothing better than a fried egg and bacon grease.
Oh my
God!
Yeah,
my dad does it every third day. But a spoonful. We're not talking a tablespoonful, right? Just a teaspoon.
Oh, we're not talking a tablespoonful.
No. Yeah, you just need Dan. Come on,
I'm
Dan.
plastering the bottom of my pan with some bacon.
You're plastering. Yeah, you're gonna have a coronary. Look, my dad has he used to when he was younger would have a dozen eggs for dinner, and his cholesterol is lower than normal because again it's omega-3, right? It was a good cholesterol, but again, like I said, so.
Thank you, Kevin. Thank you for that.
I got a new website, conformitysucks.com.
Thank you, Kevin. Thank you very much. Good tip there. I'm out since I hear the bacon grease and all that. My God.
A better way of omega-3s rescue supplements.
We got to get RFK Jr. on too. Throw some bacon on it. All right, coming up, we're going to talk with one of the commissioners that has some sanity out there in Delaware County, Mr. Commissioner McBlain. He's been on the show before. He's quitting now in protest. I'm going to try to convince him, don't quit. I need you to stay there because the Democrat progressives out there have suddenly, in the last weeks of the campaign, said, let's put in another bunch of new election offices. Let's just dump. Oh, and where are we going to dump them? I'll give you the towns coming up with him. They're all Democrat strongholds. This is what they're up to. Also, we have an update. Linda Kearns will be here at 2 o'clock on a big, very, very serious issue around all this stuff. And your calls throughout at 855-839-1210.
Odyssey's I'm Listening is our commitment to more mental health conversations.
My name is Raquel Fetzer, certified peer specialist and recovery specialist. If you call 988 and speak to someone, there are people there and ready and available to help you. It is just them and that person in that moment talking and discussing what their crisis is and how they can help.
Talk saves lives. Visit imlistening.org. Sponsored by the 988 Lifeline. Call 988 for support.
Too many people are experiencing suicidal crisis or mental health-related distress without support. But there is hope. The 988 Lifeline helps people who are struggling to overcome mental health-related issues. It's okay to not be okay. The Philadelphia Department of Behavioral Health and Intellectual Disability Services is here for you. If you or someone you know is experiencing a mental health crisis, call 988 for support. Trained crisis counselors are standing by. That's 988.
With so much uncertainty in the world today, you may find yourself wondering, is now even the right time to retire?
And so many people are waiting, and those folks are going to be waiting a really long time, I hate to say, because there's no perfect time. The market is always unpredictable and volatile.
Fortunately, Jim Cipriotti has been helping get people to, through, and beyond retirement for over 25 years. Each week, he wants to help give you that freedom to retire. Listen to Freedom to Retire with Jim Cipriotti, Saturday mornings at 9 and Sunday afternoons at 5 on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Hey, Joe DeCamera here to tell you why Family and Company Jewelers on Route 70 in Marlton, New Jersey is South Jersey's diamond destination and your trusted jeweler for quality, service, and price. You can choose from the largest selection of engagement rings in the area, or you can have their master jewelers create a custom one-of-a-kind ring just for your special day. Visit their showroom or shop online at familyjewelers.com. That's familyjewelers.com. Family and Company Jewelers, South Jersey's diamond destination.
Are you working out, eating healthy, doing all the right things, but still not seeing the right result?
Well, it could all be down to your metabolism. But now, there's a way of understanding how your nutrition and lifestyle fit into the bigger picture. Learn how your body shifts from burning carbs to burning fat for energy with Lumen. Go to lumen.me right now for 30% off. Lumen is the world's first handheld metabolic coach. It takes just a single breath first thing in the morning, and Lumen immediately analyzes your metabolism, telling you if you're burning fat or carbs, and gives you tailored guidance to improve nutrition, workouts, sleep, and stress management. There's no one-size-fits-all solution. Get something tailored to your body's needs with Lumen. Go to lumen.me today and get 30% off. Plus, listeners can get an additional 15% off by using promo code Radio50. That's promo code Radio50 at lumen.me to get an additional 15% off your first purchase today. LUMEN.ME, promo code Radio50.
Natural disasters happen every year. Fires, hurricanes, tornadoes. And with that, your most important moments recorded on VHS, camcorder tapes, and 8mm could all be gone in an instant. Cherished moments like your wedding, baby's first steps, family trips to Yellowstone. Lost. Enter Legacy Box. Digitizing your old media with Legacy Box protects your irreplaceable memories from the threat of natural disaster by digitally preserving them onto thumb drive, DVD, or the cloud, so they're safe forever. Legacy Box is the safest and easiest way to preserve your past, which is why it's been trusted by over 1 million families. Send Legacy Box your home movies, photos, and film. Their team of trained professionals will do the rest right here in the U.S. For a limited time, Legacy Box is offering radio listeners an incredible 50% off. Go to legacybox.com/value and save 50% when you digitize your memories. That's legacybox.com/value.
Philadelphia's Talk Radio 1210 WPHT, WPHT HD, WOGL HD3, Philadelphia. From the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter. Always live on the free Odyssey app. It's Dom time. Now, Dom Giordano.
All right, it is Dom time. We're scheduled to speak with Delaware County Commissioner McBlain, who is going to leave office because just of this nonsense. How did Delaware County get to that point? Who is it that moved in there? I get Montgomery County. We've been charting that for a while, where these progressives out there suddenly want to put in more. They don't have enough early election offices. I'm telling you, we are in the center of the universe of the suburban progressive nonsense with Montgomery County and now Delaware County. And we'll get to the bottom of it with him. You get in at 855-839-1210. That's the way to get on board. Side question today, the portal is up. People flocking there at Love Park.
Big crowd, surprising.
Big crowd.
Yeah,
you're able to
see
non-verbally hook up with 3 other cities in the world. Let's go to attorney. I believe he's an attorney when we spoke before. And I'm not sure if he's the only commissioner out there in Delaware County. How many they have? Well, we'll ask him. That runs things across the board. John McBlain is back with us on Talk Radio 1210. John, welcome back. Thanks for joining us. And no going in. I'm going to talk you out of resigning. We need you on that wall, buddy. You can't be leaving. Come on now.
Well, thanks, Dom. It's good to be back on the show.
How many commissioners now in this ruling body in Delaware County?
Well, Delaware County is a little different than the other counties. We have 5 members of county council, and they're all Democrats at this point. I used to be on the council, and I served 2 terms, and we're term limited, so I was not able to run again. But we have a 3-member board of elections where 2 of the members are appointed by the council, and they're Democrats. And there's a requirement that 1 member be nominated by the chairman of the minority party. So I'm the minority Republican on the board.
All right. So, John, you are resigning from that. And again, we need you maybe more on that. You know, elections don't come around that often. But when they're there, what have they done recently, and what's their rationale that's making you want to quit this?
Well, Tom, my Irish ire got up when at a special meeting on October the 11th, The board voted to have what they call voter services centers in the city of Chester and in Upper Darby Township, and in one small town out in the western part of the county called Chester Heights. And, you know, in my view, in my opinion, this was nothing more than a get-out-the-vote effort in highly concentrated Democrat areas in the county. These voter services centers are basically satellite offices for the election board, where people can come in and, you know, do whatever they would be able to do in the main media office. And but my problem with them was that you know, Delaware County had these in 2020 during the pandemic, and when there were long lines at the media courthouse. But since then, we have not had voter services centers. We have not needed them. No one has requested that we have them. And practically speaking, you know, you need more staff, more equipment to staff all these things, and none of that happened. And this year, you know, it was raised briefly at a meeting in June, and you know, the idea of perhaps having voter services centers. And it was suggested to put it in Upper Darby Township. And I asked, well, are we going to let all municipalities, you know, request and have these things? Why Upper Darby Township, which their township building is literally on the edge of the county? It's, you know, certainly closer to West Philadelphia than it is closer to most of all of Delaware County. And the reason at the time was, well, you know, we're looking at where they have error rates, you know, where people would need to come in and cure their ballots. But the election director at that point said, we're just in exploration mode, and he said he had apprehensions, you know, about the voter services centers. You know, and at the time I said, well, you know, we should have some balance to it. There should be, you know, if we're going to have them, you know, we should have it with some geographic balance. And that was it. And I look back on the record, we discussed it for a total of 8.5 minutes in June. And then there was a 1-minute discussion of it at the August meeting, and then a 30-second discussion of it at the September meeting, where again, it, you know, really it's just we're continuing to look at these things, but with no specifics. Nobody came back with analysis saying we need them in, you know, this town or that town because this is where the highest error rates are. And then we were going to have a special meeting on October the 11th. The reason for the special meeting was for polling place changes,
right?
Which occur normally, you know, as you get closer to the election. But what happens to pop up onto that agenda is voter services centers. And I come to the meeting, and the room is packed. You know, the Democratic Party has the meeting packed. The League of Women Voters, which is just an extension of the Democratic Party in Delaware County, they've got a dozen or more members there. The place is packed with everybody speaking in favor of these voter services centers, with people like state representatives, you know, who were there coming up, suggesting things and having details about the voter services center that I knew nothing about.
And you're on the Board of Elections, yes.
And I'm on the Board of Elections.
So, John, the deeper thing is this, and I wanted to probe with you because you have quite an historical bent here. Delaware County, the Trump people think is fertile ground. You know, they go to Aston, places like that. So it's still there, to your point about being in certain areas, still highly a number of moderate Democrats and Republicans. Why is there no outcry or not enough here? What's happened? Who's moved in that they can do outrageous things like this, which are clearly at the 11th hour just trying to help their vote? And again, there's a transparency issue, as you know. We have the same thing going on in Montgomery County with a $143,000 vehicle going to prisons now for their vote. What happened in Delaware County, John? Is the balance that much Democrats now?
It is. It's shrunk a little bit, but we're up to about a 60,000 vote difference in Delaware County, and when the when they redrew the congressional lines and the state legislative lines, I'll give whoever did it for the Democrats credit, you know, because they really did it in such a way as to basically to try to eliminate all Republican seats. As you know, we've got Craig Williams as the sole Republican still left, but for the congressional seat, there's a difference of about 150,000 Democrats to Republicans, which is something you're never going to be able to make up.
But let me ask you that. Where did this come from, though? I mean, for listeners that are new, or even some of my producers, they don't know that at one point Delaware County was as Republican, I would argue, as Philadelphia was Democrat, right? The war board, and I know I'm going back.
Yeah. No.
Who moved in? Where are they coming from, or what the heck happened there?
Well, I think you had a large influx of people moving out from the city, from Philadelphia, to Delaware County to take advantage of the better school districts.
Right.
The particular town I live in, Aldenboro, which is a small borough of 5,000 people. I mean, we went from in the 90s, at least 2-to-1 Republican to now it's 2-to-1 Democrat. And it's really people moving out for the school districts. People were so Philadelphia people that I spoke to were so disgusted with the Philadelphia school district that they moved out here for that reason. And even districts like William Penn, that doesn't excel, is better than the Philadelphia school district. So that was a big reason, and then I think there's just been a change nationally. I mean, you say where do you lose all that? Well, I mean, you take a look at women voters across the northern tier of Delaware County, just are not supporting Republican candidates.
Is abortion the issue?
I think that's a huge issue.
Mm-hmm.
I think with the dissolution of institutions, I mean, you can look over the last 20 years and institutions like, organized churches, media, newspapers, local clubs, all those types of things have taken a back seat, and social media has taken over. So, I think that's really, the influx of voters from Philadelphia, particularly minority voters, and the change in women's attitudes in more of the well-to-do towns. And you see that in Montgomery and Chester County as well.
Yeah, exactly. Well, John, though, the bottom line here, maybe after a cooling off period, because, again, your expertise, institutional history, et cetera, is needed there because, thank God, this is a statewide election. We got to win the state. So how does it look? Is there an encouraging sign in Delaware County this time? Or do you remember in the last presidential election, I would assume Biden did very well. A lot of Irish voters there, I would still think, Irish Catholics, right? I mean, there was a connection.
I think that, to me, this is more like a 2016 election that, no matter what your view of Donald Trump is, you either love him or you hate him, and but in 2020, I think a lot of people looked at Joe Biden and said, he's Uncle Joe,
right.
But you don't have that now. Vice President Harris is, especially over the last month, is, I think, viewed almost as negatively as Hillary Clinton was in 2016. And certainly, as I don't have to tell you, Donald Trump underperforms in polls in Pennsylvania and elsewhere. And his position now is certainly much better than it was, 4 years and even 8 years ago. And I mean, I know that lawn signs don't vote, but out here in Delaware County, I mean, I see a lot of Trump signs in areas or places or properties that I've never seen them.
Like where? Where are you seeing them, John?
Well, really all over. What strikes me is, I mean, I guess if you're in politics long enough, you know where the signs are on the lawns. And here, even in places like Springfield or Alden, where I live, I mean, the Trump signs are popping up on lawns where, there were never signs before. Well, you could say the same thing for Harris. There's certainly, if you drive through Swarthmore, there's not a shortage of Harris signs. But I think here, like I said, it's my opinion, Dom, that I really do believe that, again, these voter services centers were something that were way on the back burner. and that I don't know who rang the bell, behind the scenes.
Right.
It wasn't the election staff. I don't think it's the professional election staff, but somebody rang the bell and they said we need a get out the vote effort because things are lagging. In Delaware County, there's less than half the number of mail-in ballot applications that there were in 2020. So I think somebody, just thought that there was a lag, and they thought that they needed to do this, and that's where it was. I'll give you an example. At the September meeting, where, again, it was talked about for 30 seconds, these voter services centers, I was standing there with the election director after the meeting, just chit-chatting, and the attorney for the Democratic Party walked up to the two of us, and she said, the chairwoman of the Democratic Party has the list of volunteers to staff the voter services center ready for you.
Wow.
I mean, my teeth almost fell out of my head.
Yeah.
And to his credit, the election director said, I'm not going to use any partisan volunteers, at voter services centers if the board does it. I mean, like I said, to his credit. But the fact that we hadn't even at that point in time publicly talked for 15 minutes total over a period of months about voter services centers, and you have the attorney for the party coming up saying, I've got we've got the volunteers ready to staff these things.
Well, look, we realize what you're up against, John, and just exposing this publicly, I'm glad you got a forum, a big platform to do that. I do hope you'll stay in touch. And again, I hope you'll, once this dies down, stay on there because your knowledge base and your tenacity on this is necessary, John. Thank you. And again, thanks for coming on today.
Thanks for having me, Dom.
You're welcome. John,
All right.
John McBlain, you see what we're up against. This is like the Montgomery County thing here. They haven't even proposed fully to do the get out the vote centers for Democrats in Chester. And they already have the list of volunteers they're handing them in a meeting even before they voted to do any of this stuff. All right. That's what we're up against. But take a look at where this is headed. All this tells you heard what he said. They don't have half the mail-in ballot they had in 2020. Now, are they all going to show up on Election Day? No, they know they're not. That's why they're pressing here. They're under pressure with just 2 weeks left to go. All right, phone lines are 855-839-1210. You get in. Coming up, Kamala Harris flip-flops on fracking again. This is a double flip-flop. It's like an Olympic sport here.
Flip-flop, flip-flop.
Yeah, her spokesperson got kind of rattled and spilled her guts to Politico about this, thinking she wasn't saying anything about climate. We'll get to that. And this forgiving of 44,000 teachers and others of their student loan debt because they're public servants. I'll give you the details on this. How is it we're having people make more money being paid for by people that don't make less money? How is that equity somehow or another in the minds of progressives? 855-839-1210.
Friday, October 25th, 6 to 10 a.m. Kale & Company presents The Great Mock Debate.
My fellow Americans, this is your favorite president with a big, beautiful announcement. We'll be live in the South Jersey FOP Lodge 56.
Where do they want me to go? A police hall in South Jersey. No, we defund the police in the Harris administration.
We'll see if she shows up. I don't know. We'll see about it. She's very scared. She's shaking in her boots.
Do you think the audience will wear masks? I don't want to breathe in that deplorable air. All right?
Tickets for the Great Mock Debate at South Jersey FOP Lodge 56 in Berlin Township have sold out, but you can still catch every minute live. Listen this Friday morning, 6 to 10 a.m. on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT and the free Odyssey app.
Attention Medicaid patients.
If you're on Medicaid, how would you like if your caretaker was your daughter, your son, your grandchild, or your close friend? If you're on Medicaid, Freedom Care allows you to choose who provides your care, and that caregiver will get paid instantly after their shift. Yes, your caregiver will get paid instantly, and it's 100% free to you if you are on Medicaid. Call 267-692-3782 and ask Freedom Care how to get started with care today. No more worrying about getting care from an aide at an agency. Freedom Care helps you choose who you want to take care of you, and that person gets paid. Call Freedom Care at 267-692-3782, 267-692-3782 to get started today. You get a caregiver you know and trust, and they get paid instantly after their shift, and it's free to you. Start now by calling 267-692-3782, 267-692-3782, or go to freedomcare.com.
Harry, if you watch any more of those stupid financial shows, I'm filing for divorce.
How am I going to keep up with our retirement accounts?
At JML Financial Group, we want you watching your grandkids playing soccer and sunsets in Hawaii, not the latest rumor of a market crash. Surprisingly, with proper income planning, the stock market shouldn't even be a concern. The money came in every 2 weeks while you worked. It should be the same in your retirement years. Let us show you how. Call JML Financial Group today at 856-925-6674. That's 856-925-6674. Or at jmlfinancialgroup.com. So, when your neighbor's sunbathing in the front yard,
Harry, you're an idiot. Get away from the window.
keep your eyes focused where they should be, on enjoying your retirement. Securities and investment advisory services offered through Brokers International Financial Services, LLC, member SIPC. Brokers International Financial Services, LLC is not an affiliated company.
The following is a paid commercial message.
It's happening here in Pennsylvania. Sanctuary cities are releasing violent illegal immigrants onto our streets with the help of Bob Casey. Casey voted repeatedly to fund these dangerous sanctuary cities. Casey's policy let more illegals, more criminals loose in our neighborhoods, making our families less safe. Worse, instead of deporting criminal illegals, Casey voted to give them amnesty. Casey's amnesty would give illegal immigrants your Social Security and Medicare. That's right, Casey would give your benefits to illegals, but he'd also make you pay more. Casey voted for higher taxes on seniors' Social Security benefits. Seniors can't afford higher taxes? Bob Casey, taxing you to pay illegals. It's just another Casey con job. It's time for a change. It's time to fire Bob Casey. Senate Leadership Fund paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising, not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. SenateLeadershipFund.org.
Hey, Percy, we know your favorite station is Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Remember to take us anywhere with the free Odyssey app.
All right, Dom Giordano Show. Welcome in, 855-839-1210. That's how you get in. AT&T and Verizon Wireless. All you have to do is push pound 1210. You know, I've said many times, I used to talk about this, Dan, even before you started with me. It was the grand thing. How the hell have these suburbs changed to this degree? And you just heard John McBlain say, well, Delaware County, I can think off the top of my head, probably 10 of them that are seen as really good school districts versus Philadelphia. They move out there, and what the hell do? They bring the same thing that wrecks stuff with them, their values. The ones that are progressive or liberal with more money and more education, they come to the suburbs and they pollute that. That's what's happening in Montgomery County, and Delaware County is probably right there with it. Bucks County is the holdout, and to a lesser degree, Chester County, I think. And this is the story of this national election. Think about that. Trump, I told you this Celtics poll today, which is not a concern. It's not Rasmussen or something, saying he's ahead by 11 points among Latinos. He's got 17% and gaining of African-American voters. It's the people we were just talking about here that are in surrounding Philadelphia that are, you know, the counterforce to something that's happening, transforming the Republican Party. It's amazing to me. Are the suburbs as good as they were? The stability, those things that we look toward, people coming from the city? I don't think so. All right. The Harris campaign now has flip-flopped back on fracking. I see Lenny calling in on climate. Lenny, I'm coming to you in a second here. Their climate czar goes with Politico and says, well, She's not going to get rid of fracking, but she's not going to expand fossil fuels, meaning she's going to keep the same regulations holding things up right now on natural gas, et cetera, that Biden has done, and I suspect maybe even more. And that's the one surefire thing that's going to help lower inflation. Energy costs have soared overall in the Biden-Harris administration. So this is the flip-floppery again. She knows she can't get away with attacking fracking head on. She can't go back to her previous business or anything like it. But this is her person. Speaking for the administration, the Harris administration to be, saying, well, she's not going to expand on fossil fuels. Translation, essentially what Biden's been doing. So are people in Pennsylvania going to get this stuff? Or is abortion just, that's it, I want to abort. Where do I sign up? Which party? All right, let's go to Lenny and Pittman. Lenny, you're on Talk Radio 1210. Hey, Lenny, afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir. I'd like to expose something else today, and this is this climate change crap and the EVs and all that. I watched on the news this morning where we could actually set a record today of going over 80. You know where the record was set, Tom? 1920.
Yeah.
So 104 years later, we still get 80-degree temperatures. I guess the Waltons had EVs back in the day, huh?
No,
and they really stop it. It just stop it with the lying.
Yeah, it is, Lenny. And whatever we say, if it's cold, if it's hot, it doesn't matter. This is their religion. This is what they're wedded to. And as I just said, their spokesperson messes up today and says she's going to curtail fossil fuels. That's the big news. I mean, it shows exactly what we know that she's about.
Dom, I just find it hard to believe that the joke of for 3.5 years was, boy, if something happens to Joe, we'd get Kamala. Well, now you got her? You're kidding me, really? I just either the American people are stupid or this is all that the polls. It's just got to be a joke. Well, it's got to be one.
Thank you, Lenny. Thank you very much. Well, look, it's driven by two factors here. One, antagonism toward Trump on the other side. I mean, Trump is the most polarizing figure, arguably, that we've seen. You can't name somebody else that has this level of devotion and this level of hatred. I don't know of anyone that I've ever covered or anything that we've seen. So that's one part of it. The other is the abortion thing. That still we're going down this path, and Trump's the last person in the world is going to be for a national ban on abortion. I mean, we talked about Liz Cheney signed the amicus brief for Dobbs, for the Supreme Court decision. She's pro-life. She's out there with Kamala Harris. She's pro-life to the extreme degree, Liz Cheney. And yet, going out there, and again, I think the antagonism, a lot of it is the Cheneys. They want to be in these unending wars. And they felt dissed by Trump. They don't like his style. They're the old guard Republicans. That's the other factor we're seeing here. But this is big news, though, that the Harris climate person in an interview with Politico says that she's not going to allow any expansion of fossil fuels. And that means what Biden has done here, curtailing this, holding all this up. So it's not an outright ban on fracking, but the lull or pause here that's going on is also crippling. We're never going to get out of inflation. The inflationary pressures are always going to be there. This is a major mistake today. It gets us back to, here in Pennsylvania, what people are going to think about this, at least if the word gets out there enough. All right, it's 855-839-1210. I want to talk about one more thing that's Pennsylvania-centric. And again, Dan and I have debated a little bit on this at times, a little bit on the side, but this is a little bit different. The Federal Student Loan Forgiveness Program, more than $4.5 billion in new student debt relief, is being given to 44,000 Pennsylvania teachers and other public service workers who will receive debt forgiveness topping $3.2 billion since 2021 for the Pennsylvania buyers. So this is just in Pennsylvania. And it's under, here's what's flawed with this. It's under this notion that the Biden administration has picked out certain people, certain occupations, as more worthy than others to have this forgiven. In other words, if you decide to go into teaching, you're better, and you should get this forgiven. I can make an easy argument. Someone that starts a small business and hires people, you mean to say they are not doing as good of a social duty, creating jobs? How is it that teachers are the ones that are getting this benefit? 44,000 Pennsylvania teachers and other public service workers will get this loan forgiveness, $3.5 billion here. It's triggered around this benefit plan. I think Brendan Boyle, the congressman from Northeast Philadelphia, is one of the biggest architects. Earlier this year, veteran teacher Michelle Gibb shared her story of drowning in $80,000 in student loan debt, being unable to get a reprieve because her loan services were constantly changing. Now, this is the woman that decided to get all these higher ed degrees. This wasn't undergrad. If you remember, she determined that as a teacher, she was going to do that. This is some of the people we're talking about. Where's the fairness here, where we have people that are making less money funding people that are making more money, or people that made a decision to get a master's degree? I mean, we're not just talking about undergraduate stuff. And here's the biggest culprit of all. The very people ideologically that are connected to these teachers and others and Biden forgiving them, who is that? Big college. The ones that are excessively getting away with charging people more and more and more every day. They make out. The people that have gone into the, quote, right professions, they get forgiven. And then who has to pay for this? Those that didn't go to college, maybe. Those that didn't make those career choices. So how in the world, look, I started in teaching, but do I think the teacher choice is superior, is more noble than these others? Based on what? Why don't these other professions? Who are we to say, well, that's a more noble profession? The teacher is. Why? I mean, look at some of the people that are teachers after they get tenure. That's more noble? I don't think so. And I've been inside this a lot over the years. This is different than just the debate over forgiving student loan debt. This is about particular occupations. And then again, it's also about big college. Why are Republicans so ineffectual? Even Trump at tying this to these universities who make out by having all this forgiven, and they keep on upping the rate. All right, here's how you get in. 855-839-1210. Today's side question coming off this portal, someone or something that will not fly in Philadelphia. Dan, any good ones on YouTube today? Or Twitter?
Twitter's got a great one. How about Leslie Fisherpine putting an end to savesies would never fly in Philadelphia?
Leslie. You know what, Dan? It's one of the biggest embarrassments as a South Philadelphian, which I always will be. I was talking to somebody today about this. I remember the first time I had somebody allegedly from South Philly calling in, defending being against the savesies. I was like, you're not from South Philly. Get the hell out of South Philly. You got to be kidding me.
Co-founder of Boys Latin checking in, David P. Hardy, says end the government-run educational monopoly.
Well, you know what, Dan? That guy is one of my heroes, David Hardy. He really is. Boys Latin, what he's done. And I believe, because I met him there, Dan, you know he's a big fan of Eamon Brown.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely. And I see it, star quality there, ultimately.
Eamon, check your texts.
Yeah. Hey, come on, Eamon. Yeah, what the
trying
heck's
to get you on the show. Come on.
Yeah, come on, Eamon. Hey, David.
I've been being left on red. What's going on here?
David, hit the guy. Tell him to call Henry. Come on, Eamon. We want you to come on the show. All right, 855-839-1210. David Hardy, Dan, let's talk about it at the show. He might be a guy to talk about that. You know, I have.
That'd be great, yeah.
Yeah, I just have unbelievable respect for him. He is a guy that has done just amazing work. Boys Latin is a testament to that. All right, 855-839-1210. You get in. So is the teaching profession and some of these others, are they more noble than your profession? 44,000 forgiven around this. And this one woman really frosts me. She's the one that went and had all these men. Come on. Do we have to pay for a PhD if you're a teacher? Why? All right. Hey, Sean Parnell in the audience. I forgot. Yeah, coming to your calls here. Sean Parnell, Mount Rushmore, when we win Pennsylvania, he's going to give you an unbelievable update on the mail-in ballot numbers. That's coming up. Hey, this NBA season, you can make every play, pass, and point mean more with FanDuel in partnership with Valley Forge Casino, America's #1 sportsbook. Check out newer bets like the number of dunks, assists, or three-pointers in the next 3 minutes. It doesn't matter if you tap into FanDuel before the game starts or after it has already started. Just visit FanDuel.com/Dom for your chance to score $300 in bonus bets with FanDuel, official sportsbook partner of the NBA. FanDuel Sportsbook is the official partner of 1210 WPHT. You have to be 21 plus, present in Pennsylvania. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets, which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem, 1-800-GAMBLER.
Weather sponsored by Morgan & Morgan.
Near record warmth is in the forecast today. We'll have plenty of sunshine with a high 83. The record high is 83 for Philadelphia. Tonight, another cool night, mostly clear, low 56 for the city, cooler out in the suburbs. And the warmth continues on Wednesday, plenty of sunshine with a high near 80.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. We recently received a call from an injured person. The insurance company had offered them $11,000. We took the case over and got more than $2 million in court. Morgan & Morgan.
Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
You're in hot water, mister.
What'd I do?
I told you months ago our utility bills were getting higher because of that old outdated tank water heater.
Maybe it's time we finally switch to a Navien tankless.
Learn about Navien's high-efficiency tankless water heaters, endless hot water, all while helping you save on your energy costs.
Hey, look at this. Our utility bill is lower since we got the Navien tankless water heater.
Who's in hot water now?
We are, all the time.
Learn more at tanklessmadesimple.com.
Hi, I'm Angie Hicks, co-founder of Angie. When you use Angie for your home projects, you know all your jobs will be done well. Roof repair? Done well. Kitchen sink install? Done well. Deck upgrades? Done well. Electrical upgrade? Done well. Angie's been connecting homeowners with skilled pros for nearly 30 years, so we know the difference between done and done well. Hire high-quality, certified pros at Angie.com.
The following is a paid commercial announcement.
They don't call her Confiscation Kamala for nothing. Don't take it from us.
And I support a mandatory buyback program.
A mandatory buyback program? That means the government forcing you to turn in your firearms. To what lengths would Kamala go? Well, she doesn't even support the individual right to own a firearm.
I'm prepared to take executive action and put in place a ban on the importation of assault weapons into our country.
We get it. Sometimes it's tough to understand what she's talking about. But on the Second Amendment and your rights, Confiscation Kamala has been crystal clear. Her gun control agenda comes straight from that petri dish of bad ideas that is California. She can claim to be a gun owner all she wants, but we all know she's the same anti-gun California radical she's always been. Don't be left defenseless. Defeat Confiscation Kamala. Vote Trump like your life depends on it, because it does. NRA Political Victory Fund paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. NRAPVF.org.
Tune in to Crash Proof Retirement Show, Saturdays at 11 a.m. to hear Phil Cannella and Joanne Small. The Crash Proof Retirement Show, Saturday mornings at 11 on Talk Radio 1210.
The leaves are changing color, the air is crisp, and it's the perfect time to fall into savings on a luxurious new Volvo from Cherry Hill Volvo. Take advantage of these incredible offers. A 2025 XC40 for only $435 per month on a 36-month lease. A 2024 C40 for only $329 per month on a 36-month lease. Or get 3.99% financing on select new Volvos for 72 months. See store for details. Customers enjoy the stress-free and satisfactory experience Cherry Hill Volvo provides. Cherry Hill Volvo, where relationships matter.
When you need to know, depend on KYW News Radio 103.9 FM.
The New Jersey Forest Fire Service is warning you not to start any campfires or charcoal fires because of the drought.
The new Philly portal opens in Love Park, but there was a crack on the screen found yesterday. And PennDOT says it's going to start toughening up on aggressive driving around the state.
Get the latest anytime on KYW News Radio. Now on Crystal Clear 103.9 FM.
You've never needed us more.
Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Live from the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter.
All right, Dom Giordano Show. He's part of my own personal Mount Rushmore when we win Pennsylvania. That would be Jim Worthington, the fundraiser, Scott Presler out there on the vote, Linda Kearns, the election integrity, and Captain Sean Parnell in charge and getting great success with the mail-in ballot. Captain, welcome back to Philadelphia.
Hey, Dom, what's happening, my friend?
Yeah, you're part of our own Mount Rushmore here. Congratulations on where, I mean that when we win, these are the people that I see in our area and statewide that are doing it rather than just the big national figures. I mean, you each have carved out something special. Before we get to the numbers, which are encouraging, I don't know if you saw this survey that said in the early voting, Sean, that these were engaged voters, meaning not people that don't vote often. And that tells me a lot of people are hearing you and hearing what we're saying that are Republicans that usually vote on Election Day, and they've decided to bank the vote that we go after the disengaged voters.
Yeah, I mean, listen, and then we initially set out with this plan. Now, wrote this plan almost 18 months ago, Dom. So this isn't something that we stood up overnight. We planned for this for a year and a half and slowly, built out this plan and our infrastructure to support it. We initially went into this plan intending to target low propensity voters, right? Get them on the permanent list, make sure that we give ourselves a solid floor so that not just it benefits in presidential cycles, but in midterms and in off cycles as well. It just makes things a lot easier. But what we found, and consider this during 2020, and for you and for all the listeners out there, Trump's margin in 2020 in an election that had a litany of different issues was 80,000 votes, right? They pulled out all the stops to get 80,000 votes, right? Now, what we learned through our research and the data was that 120,000, 3 of 4 voters and 4 of 4 voters simply did not vote. Those are our highest propensity people. Now, that number eclipsed the margin. So what we've been doing thus far to great effect is not only targeting low prop voters and adding them to the perm list, but we're also adding high propensity voters, as you just said, to the permanent list. And as of today, listen to this, my friend, we crossed 200,000 first-time mail-in voters added to the permanent list, 224,000. I mean, we've already exceeded our goal, and we got 2 weeks to go.
What do you say that has been due to, Sean? I mean, these are the engaged voters. That's the most encouraging thing to me.
Yeah. Well, listen, I mean, so we initially came into this, Dom, trying to say, okay, the Democrats had a 1 million person lead with banked mail-in votes in 2020. 1 million. We said, okay, if we can winnow that, if we can close the gap, make it maybe 800,000 in 2024, this is outcome determinative. It gives us a real good shot to win. But not only that, I can't, for the life of me, Dom, it looks like the Democrats are going to only go into Election Day with about 500,000, if I had to guess, right, 500,000 mail-in ballot vote lead, maybe 600,000 worst-case scenario on Election Day. And let me tell you, that's not 1 million. We've significantly cut into their margin. And frankly, consider this. From last Friday to Friday of last week, that 7-day period, during the same period in 2020, okay, we were down by 35,000 requests during that same period in 2020. In 2022, we were down by 28,000 requests during the same 7-day period. In 2024, guess what? We're winning by 4,000 requests.
That is stunning.
What? It's stunning. It's stunning. Now listen to this. You can only request a ballot for a couple more days. So there's no mathematical path, none. Even if we didn't return or request a single vote, there's simply no way the Democrats will have a 1 million vote lead going into Election Day. No way. And I'm just excited. I think this is a great thing.
And it is. And you have cleared the way here. We're like, you stormed the beaches of Normandy. All we have to do is the cleanup, Sean, because all we have to do now is get people to turn out and vote on that day, which historically these people can't wait to do it. So we just talked to a guy in Delaware County, really plugged in. He said the Democrats there only have about half. So what they've done, Sean, out of the blue, they've set up 3 special election offices in places like Chester, Pennsylvania, et cetera.
Of course.
Yeah, this is what they're going to do. But it indicates what they're sensing, too. It's not just us with rose-colored glasses. They're sensing the very same thing. And the difference is your great work, the shrewdness of it being on it, and also it's Harris, not Biden this time around.
It's such a great point. Let me also say, I'm responsible for this. I'm responsible for everything that happens or fails to happen in the team. But I am a very small part of a very competent group of just, great Republicans who care about the future of this country. So I'm a very small part. I've got an amazing team around me. But if you're running statewide as a candidate, I've done it. I know what it's like. At some point, if you think that the top of the ticket is going to sink you, you've got a phase line where you say, okay, I've got to discard the top of the ticket here and try to save myself. And that's why in every media market in the state of Pennsylvania, outside of Scranton in Philadelphia, Bob Casey is running pro-Trump advertisements on television. So that tells you that if for a Senate candidate to distance himself from a sitting Democrat president and the actual Democrat nominee, it tells you that they see a trend in their internals that is simply not reversible. Now, I'm not saying that Kamala can't win and that we shouldn't sprint to the finish. Complacency kills. We absolutely should not take a single thing for granted and campaign like we're 10 points down. But when you talk about the mail-in numbers that we just laid out and all of the other factors, when I say Pennsylvania closes late and fast, you look at independents who a Republican in this state cannot win without. And when you look at internal polling and you talk about leaners are basically, if you don't know this, like your undecided voters, you have people that are undecided, you basically push them a little bit and say, okay, I see you're undecided, but if you had to vote today, who would you vote for? 2-1, those independents are breaking Republican, which is why you've seen McCormick take the lead in Atlas and in Trafalgar, great public polling institutions in the last week or so, and why you've seen Trump expand his lead in Pennsylvania. So things could not be better right now.
Absolutely. Well, Sean, let's bring it home. Where do people go then to get that mail-in ballot? Encourage others to do it. There still is a bit of time here. What do they do?
SkipTheLinePA.com. You just got a couple days left. Go. Fill out a ballot application, request a ballot, and then we chase like we've never chased before, my friend.
That's it.
Execute.
Well, look, I want a team in this foxhole with Scott Presler and Sean Parnell. I don't know. I have to see the Democrat duo that has been through this. I don't think they've been shot at as much as you have been, for example. So, Sean, we'll get you back on again to encourage after this and to chase those down. But thank you. And again, 18 months in advance, this is all coming together.
Yeah, you got it, my friend. I'll be there for you when you need me.
Thank you, Sean Parnell. All right, guys, Chris and Mark, I want your calls next. Got to take a quick break here, though. I'm coming to you. As I anticipated, and Dan, we may have to put up the bat signal for Jim Worthington. He was going to buy food 5 to 7. If these reports are correct, that the McDonald's over in Trevose is under a lot of pressure now because of having Trump there. I don't go to McDonald's, but I'm going to make a trip over there today. We'll encourage you to do that if this holds up. And I have to take Dan's on her. I don't know if Henry's as big of a fast food as Dan. I think Dan strikes me as a bigger fast food consumer.
No, I've never been huge on fast food. I like McDonald's, but I was thinking about it yesterday. Like I probably only had
Henry. He seems like a guy that'd be big on Chipotle.
I like Chipotle.
Yeah, I could see it.
I've had that probably
like a weekly trip to Chipotle.
Yeah.
You go on a week?
No. I'd say maybe once a month.
Okay. And Dan, they see him coming in fast food. They roll down that window. Here he comes.
All right. Mr. Throw Stones in Glass Houses. Let's go to Olive Garden once a week, Ro.
Wait a minute. It's the lunchtime. It's a soup and salad.
It's
There's
fast
nothing wrong
food.
with
It's the
that.
same thing.
Oh, God.
You just sit inside a shelter while you eat it.
We come back all the way to Olive Garden constantly.
I love Olive Garden. I'm just saying, don't throw stones if you live in a
Is the chain restaurant the same thing as fast food?
No, but we'll get to that, guys. Let me get to Chris and Mark coming up. Brief break, and then we're coming to these guys here. Can I talk about Martin Water in a little bit? Let's get a brief break going. We got an update on the McDonald's over in Trevose on Talk Radio 1210.
You may have heard, Wawa has pizza. And right now, Wawa has pizza at a really great price.
Wawa has personal pizza for a night of gaming.
And it's only $6.
Wawa has pizza for when we don't want to cook.
And a 14-inch is $8.
Wawa has pizza for after practice.
A 16-inch to feed the team, $10. Right now, get a personal 14 or 16-inch Wawa pizza for just $6, $8, or $10. Wawa has pizza for all at a really great price.
Hey, it's Rich Zioli. Business owners can count on McCausland Lock and Alarm to secure and control access to their facilities. Enjoy peace of mind while their access control and CCTV systems provide top-of-the-line protection for your assets. Tom McCausland's wealth of experience allows McCausland to effectively protect all types of facilities in any environment, and their customer service is unmatched. Call today, 610-430-1500. 610-430-1500. McCausland Lock and Alarm, securing your business, securing your future.
This is Dr. Marianne Ritchie. Tune in to Your Radio Doctor every Saturday afternoon at 5 here on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT for the latest healthcare news and information, because your health is your wealth. That's Your Radio Doctor, Saturdays at 5.
Your 401k goes up and down. That's fine when you're 40, but not when you're 60. Find out how to protect your hard-earned money. Tune in to the Retirement Spectrum with Alan Cohen, Saturdays at 3 on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Wawa's hot turkey is back, and it's bringing the comforting flavors of the season with it. Sink into savory stuffing, cozy up with sweet cranberry sauce, and relax into some warm, buttery mashed potatoes. Grab your pillows and blankets, because hot turkey is back. Plus, get your cozy cravings satisfied from the comfort of your bed with $0 delivery when you order on the Wawa app. Try the Wawa Gobbler today in a hoagie or bowl for a limited time. Gotta have a Wawa.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6481. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com
or call 800-575-6481. That's 800-575-6481.
Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Free speech lives here on Odyssey's #1 talk station. Talk Radio 1210. 1210 WPHT.
It's a threat to our democracy. Some might argue that the threat is even greater today.
And he sided with Trump to end NAFTA and put tariffs on China to stop them from cheating.
Nicely played. What a turnaround. Thank you, guys. So that's Bob Casey Jr. In September. Now in October, he sides with Trump. Threat to democracy. Yeah, I love that Trump on trade. You know, Hitler's so great on trade. He's on the ropes. He is. Let's go to Chris in Southampton, though, close by where the McDonald's is that Trump appeared the other day. All right, Chris, you've been by the McDonald's. What can you tell us?
Yeah, good afternoon, Dom. I woke up this morning and there was some buzz on social media about boycotting the McDonald's I saw. So I said to a couple buddies of mine, hey, let's go over and, patronize the McDonald's because we wanted to show our support for him having Trump there. And when we were standing in line, we noticed a security guard, and he had, bulletproof vest, gun, cuffs, everything. We thought, oh, maybe the guy's on lunch break, grabbing McDonald's. And then we saw two more guys come in, and we overheard them talking and the staff talking. They were there because of threats that were made to the McDonald's for having Trump there. And the company is called Strategic Security. I think they're based out of New York because they had patches on their hats and their jackets. But we were there about 11:15, and 2 of them were out in the parking lot, and then one was inside the store just kind of, standing around and walking around, which we thought that was pretty surprising because it was a pretty positive turnout on Sunday.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Chris, thank you for that. Let's see if the Inquirer and others are reporting it. We're talking to Jim Worthington, who brokered the whole thing. You probably heard yesterday on the show. Yep. And he says he spoke to him, definitely blowback. He'll be putting out something today, Dan, he sends in this, to send support his way. Maybe we can too. So, Dan, if you just want to tell him, we'll wait for his word, and then I don't want to jump the gun willy-nilly here. When he wants to do something to show support, Chris, then we'll put it out. We'll do it. We'll have him on somehow.
Like a 60 secretary taking the memo.
I'll just say, I'll just say to listeners, if you're hungry, then you stop by and just order something, and get more money coming into that place, so he doesn't see any type of negative effects, because obviously it's not warranted. And I'll just end it by saying, Trump 2024. We got to win this thing, as we all know.
Is that going to be like an Eagles chant? Now, feel free to spell out Trump like Eagles here on it. So hopefully we'll hear from Jim. He's working up something on this, so I would say to go there, Lower Southampton on Street Road. You knew this was coming. Let's see if they report this fairly. Linda Kearns is coming up, our election integrity czar. I'll let her set it up here, what's happened, but it is related to the story we told you about an arrest being made of this guy who is a Democrat, or at least is voted Democrat, theater manager, and he told people putting together training for poll watchers that he was going to kill one of them and skin him alive. And to the credit of what's happening here, he has been arrested, according to the Inquirer. That's a good thing. We have to do this with more people. I don't care what side they're on. If you're making death threats, if you're making threats, that's illegal. You cannot threaten people in this manner. Let me go to Mark in Feasterville, Talk Radio 1210. Hey, Mark, good afternoon.
Hey, Dom, how are you?
Good, Mark.
Long time listener. First time caller, though, a little bit nervous. But I was compelled to call because my wife just called me. She was at the McDonald's probably about 45 minutes ago, because we don't eat fast food a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But we decided these are going to be our cheat days, and we're going to go over there. We were at the McDonald's on Sunday. It was awesome. And she basically told me exactly what Chris just said, with the armed guards, with people getting threats. Actually, the only people that you can talk to is the manager. She wanted to go in to tell the manager how we're going to support McDonald's, how we're going to go there all the time. This owner, I can't pronounce his name, but he's just so courageous for doing this. And maybe, hopefully, you can get the word out to Jim Worthington, because people need to go there. We need to support him, because when my wife called me, and we live in Feasterville, this was very, very upsetting. So I tried to get my nervousness away and give you a call.
Well, Mark, you don't know how I appreciate this. This is exactly what talk radio is about, grouping together around something like this. And we saw it coming, what we want to do, and I know Jim Worthington, we've been in contact with him, Mark. We want to give this guy a net benefit out of all this for being courageous and doing the right thing as an American. A former president, a president-to-be, wants to come and highlight this.
Absolutely.
Of course you should do it, but it took a lot for him to do it. And I don't know if he's an immigrant or not, but I know there's some history there. He's doing all the right things, and he shouldn't have to live under this.
Absolutely not. I mean, just very, very upsetting. By the way, my wife and I, we voted 3 weeks ago, so our vote is in for Trump. Very happy about that. And I'm on the road, but I'm on my way back to my office. I mean, I am going to stop at that McDonald's on my way back.
Good for you, Mark.
Continue to support them.
And I appreciate you making that first-time call very much.
Yeah, I had to let you know.
Thank you, Mark.
Thank you for taking the call.
Yeah, so to wrap it up, we'll take more calls on this if you're headed that way. It's over there on Street Road in Lower Southampton. It's East Street Road. We'll talk with Jim Worthington when he's ready. I think he's putting out a statement on this, encouraging people. He was going to pay for it 5 to 7 o'clock. I think it was. The guy was ready to go away, so Jim's going to pay for it. But I think it was the week after next. So maybe that will be moved up, given what we're facing here. Imagine armed guards apparently there at the McDonald's, all because Trump comes there. And the other side wants to tell us about how America has changed. All right, 855-839-1210. You get on board. We're going to talk with Linda Kearns next. You can jump in now and hit us on the side question. Hey, my friends at Martin Water Conditioning are celebrating their 51st year with their annual anniversary sale. Now through the end of October. Save on better water for your entire family. We've enjoyed crystal clear drinking water in our home for years, thanks to Martin Water Conditioning. This is a great opportunity for you to do the same. We love it. Water tastes great. Tea or just plain drinking water. The Martin Water Conditioning family is incredible to work with. Nobody, you'll see it, is as passionate about water. So save up to $500 on select systems for your home. You want to improve your drinking water? Martin is offering $100 off their Connecticut K5 reverse osmosis system. If you purchase a water softener, you may be eligible for a free Kennex salt monitor, which is worth over $150. Special 18 and 48-month financing is available to those who qualify. Save now through the end of October. These deals are mutually exclusive and won't last long. Visit martinwater.com for more details. Schedule that free. It's a free water test today. martinwater.com.
This school year, get your child or grandchild the help they need to succeed. Special tutoring and custom instruction is available from METC, the Motivational Educational Tutoring Company. Now's the time to call Kathy Ganna and help your child have an outstanding year. Call the Motivational Educational Tutoring Company. For over 30 years, METC's tutoring studio, founded by educator Kathy Ganna, has helped people of all ages grow personally and academically. Call Kathy today at 215-493-4200. METC offers motivational SAT prep as well as academic skills and leadership training. Call 215-493-4200. Visit online at METC.com. Call METC's tutoring studio today at 215-493-4200 or email Kathy directly at info@METC.com. Remember, 1210 listeners receive a free 1-hour consultation. Take advantage of this opportunity to help your child get one-on-one help. Call 215-493-4200. That's 215-493-4200.
Hey man, come here. You're not going to believe it. I picked up this beautiful model. She's down here.
A model?
Yep, got her from the train store.
In your basement?
See?
Oh, model train.
Whew. Yeah, what'd you think I was talking about?
Nicholas Smith Trains. Become the conductor with any model you can imagine, from classics to new releases and holiday-themed engines. Don't forget to visit Nicholas Smith Trains and Toys this holiday season. NicholasSmithTrains.com.
Dreaming of a new bathroom?
Emmons Remodeling can turn your dreams into reality.
From modern shower or bath surround upgrades to complete remodels, our team of designers and remodeling construction experts deliver stunning results. We use high-quality materials to ensure that your bathroom will look great and last for years to come.
Call us today at 856-885-6677 or visit online at callemmons.com.
From top to bottom,
to inside and out,
at Emmons, we have you covered.
See Joe Conklin with Norm Clark and Vince Valentine at the Sellersville Theater, Saturday, November 2nd.
Joe is awesome. Wonderful. Excellent.
Joe was awesome. Robert Reese was really funny. I thought the Charles Barkley stuff that he did was funny.
I actually looked him up online. I was kind of scared. Oh, I thought it was great. My cheeks are still hurting from laughing.
I just got here. I didn't say it, but I heard it was great.
That's Conklin with Norm Clark and Vince Valentine at the Sellersville Theater, Saturday, November 2nd. For tickets, go to joeconklin.com. joeconklin.com!
Attention thrill seekers! It's the Monster Truckload Hot Tub Sale at Springdance Hot Tubs with deals so monstrous they'll send shivers down your spine. Save up to $5,000 on hot spring and Caldera hot tubs. Plus, the excitement continues with bonus accessories worth up to $3,000. Salt system, insulated cover, and more. But beware, these monster-sized deals are only here until October 27th. Don't miss your chance. Visit Springdance Hot Tubs at springdancehot.tubs.com before these deals vanish for good.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-511-3535. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-511-3535. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-511-3535. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. Call 800-511-3535. 800-511-3535 or biglou.com.
Philadelphia's Talk Radio 1210 WPHT, WPHT HD, WOGL HD3, Philadelphia. From the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter. Always live on the free Odyssey app. It's Dom time. Now, Dom Giordano.
That's right, it is Dom time. All right, yesterday we had on two members of our Mount Rushmore when Trump wins Pennsylvania scenario, Scott Presler, Jim Worthington. Today we've had on two more, Captain Parnell and Colonel Linda Kearns, Jimmy Matthews, Pennsylvania Election Integrity Council for the RNC, and a colonel here in the election, the great battle of 2024. Linda Kearns joins us. Colonel Kearns, welcome in.
Dom, it's not just me. We have an amazing staff with the Republican National Committee, the Pennsylvania GOP, the local GOP people. We're the ones who are going to bring this home for Donald Trump, the entire team. It's not just me.
I know you take it there, but, Mount Rushmore, you don't get to put teams on there, so that's how I see it. I don't know what's going on in the other swing states, Linda, but I can't imagine a cast of characters like Worthington, Kearns, and Scott Presler. On the character level, we have this covered big time.
I hope so. But I am swinging. It's the ninth inning. I'm swinging just as hard as I was in the first inning. We have to bring this home. We can't take our foot off the gas. We need every single vote. We need every single voter.
Now, Linda, we believe you were involved in this in a legal sense, and this is a good thing, and I'm across the board. I know you are too. Anybody making threats, death threats, etc., we need to crack down on this early and often. The headline at the Inquirer, Linda, Philly man charged with threatening to kill and skin a political party operative recruiting Election Day poll watchers. What can you tell us?
Right. So this is one of our staffers. It's in the western side of the state. And our staffers who recruit poll watchers and train them, they give out their cell phone number and their email address because they're extremely accessible. And we help the voters however we can, give them information. And she received, it was at the beginning of September, she received these really terrible, horrible text messages that went just beyond anything. It just using foul language, threatening to kill her, threatening to skin her, and referencing the poll watching. And the person who did it it came from we had a cell phone number, so we just used regular public records and found a name attached to the number, and then we contacted the local authorities, and then I contacted the FBI because the Merrick Garland, he had established an election integrity task force, a federal task force. So I contacted the FBI. I advised them what's going on. We cooperated. We provided them with the text messages, and they investigated. And an indictment was unsealed yesterday, they announced. And this person was charged with a felony. And we take this very, 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 very seriously. There's no place for this in a free and fair election.
Hey, look, too, I got to say, the Merrick Garland, the mechanism, and you on top of this, it has resulted now, and he gets his legal rights and all that. But finally, we're seeing the wisdom of this. We're not going to let it get out of hand. They may have to do this a lot, but so be it.
Right, and whenever something like this happens, we absolutely report it. And sometimes it's difficult for people because here the person was in the western side of the state, the victim, and then the person who did it looked like they were from Philadelphia, so we had to kind of track down, and we contacted the Philadelphia police, we contacted the local police on the other side of the state, obviously we contacted the FBI, and then they sort out, who does the investigation, and this man was federally charged. And he should have been. There's absolutely no place for this.
Yeah, he's a Roxborough guy, and again, to skin him alive, I mean, this gets your attention. That's exactly right. And this woman is in another part of the state, as you said, just recruiting poll watchers. This sets this guy off. Do we know what the motivation was in what set him off?
No, I mean, I just think he's filled with rage. It's complete and utter nonsense. I mean, I know that I went through this in 2020. People got a hold of my information, and I got a lot of messages like this, and I don't understand it. There's plenty of people that I don't want to vote for. I don't think would be good for the country. I don't vote for them. I vote for the other person, and then I move on. I don't send them threatening messages. I don't persevere on them. I don't find their phone numbers and send ridiculous text messages. I don't understand the motivation of these people, and there's just no place for this.
No, without a doubt. What's in your corner, Linda? Any updates? We've heard, we had on John McBlain from Delaware County, where suddenly Democrats had these early election offices set up. He claimed that they were all ready to go even before the Election Bureau about it. And these places, again, are harder to monitor than if you have one central area where we can be watching things.
Right. So some of the counties, not all of the counties, had set up these what they call satellite election offices where you can go in and you can request your mail ballot, fill it out, and return it right there. What I have been hearing from several different counties is some of our voters go there and either they're just not equipped, they're not ready, they're not opened when they're supposed to be. So my message to voters is just keep going back, because if you can get your ballot in now, that is the best way to do it. If you go to swampthevote.com, you can actually find your local place where you can, the closest office where you can submit your mail ballot. These satellite election offices, Dom, we really, went hard on this in 2020 because the election code didn't specifically provide for them. It doesn't provide for watchers, but that went up to the Supreme Court in 2020. So we're going to hope that after this election, the law gets changed and this gets tightened up and we're allowed to have watchers in these offices. But for now, what I tell voters is if you can vote early, the safest way to do it is to go into one of these satellite election offices or your local county office, request your ballot, fill it out right there, put it back in the secrecy envelope, seal the secrecy envelope, put it back in the outer envelope, sign and date it, and then give it right back to them. You don't have to even worry about it going through the mail stream.
You guys looking at anything with Montgomery County, the lead commissioner there is a national star, and again, playing around the edges, I think. And then I don't want to be lectured about, bringing up that we want the law followed to the letter here. Linda, we're told that on Friday, the Montgomery County Mr. Softy Truck is going to go to the county prison. And the sense I have is there might be limited number of people to vote there, but they're bringing big staff out, making a big deal out of it. And there's already a mechanism if the right people want to vote there, right?
Well, so you can, if you're in prison in Pennsylvania, you can vote unless you're incarcerated for a felony. I don't understand how that's going to work, though. Are they going to let the people out of the prison to come out to the van? I mean, it doesn't make sense. And for as irritating as that van is, I really wonder how effective it is, because I've gone to an office to request a mail ballot, and it's not an instantaneous process. You go in, you have to give them your name, they have to print it out. So, they can only do so many. So I'm not sure if they're just doing that to irritate us or what the story is. But I do know that we have been really dwarfing what we did in 2020 as far as Republicans getting their mail ballots back in. We've really, really shrunk the difference between Republicans and Democrats on that. So we're not going to go into Election Day with as much of a deficit as we did in 2020, and that's great news. But I still need everyone to vote. We cannot leave any votes on the table. I have 2 nieces and 2 nephews away at college, and I'm proud to say they all returned their ballots. So I need all the voters to do that. Talk to your family and friends, because October 29th is the last day to request a mail ballot. And if you have one now, get it back in, because if you're mailing it, if you are away at college, it could take some time to get back to your county, and they have to be in by Election Day. So we're really getting down to the wire.
Exactly. Any website to go to one more time, Linda?
Definitely swampthevote.com, because you can request a mail ballot. You can find a local election office. You can find your polling place. That's a great site to go to. If you are available to help on Election Day, protectthevote.com. You can still volunteer. I am so proud to say that we really have just a really expansive election integrity effort in Pennsylvania, the best I've ever seen. We're really out there protecting the vote, both in the polling places and watching at the mail ballot canvas. So I'm really proud of what we've done. I am so grateful to Chairman Whatley and Laura Trump for their vision and their guidance in setting this up and giving us the resources we need, because I want voters to feel secure and safe. Your vote is going to count, and you have to get out there and cast it, and I don't want to hear any excuses.
All right. Well, we will not. Thank you, Linda. Thanks as always.
Thank you, Don.
All right,
okay.
Linda
Bye-bye.
Kearns here on Talk Radio 1210 with the last minute plea around this. All right, 855-839-1210. She mentioned Laura Trump will be on at the show tomorrow at 1:30. And I'm going to play you coming up after Money Melody. One more clip. She went on the Charlemagne the God show, and it takes a lot to do that. It was a fun, pointed stuff about Trump being a racist. She really, and along with Whatley, have remade the RNC. Think about it, what it was like with Ronna McDaniel, Romney, or whatever 3 names were there, heading it up. I mean, it was just awful. And they would get killed and she still would be there. Look at what's happened now. I'm telling you, this election cycle, they are fighting on every battlefront. That doesn't mean Democrats are rolling over. God knows what they'll do between now and then. But it means we're not going to go into the big game on Election Day down 1 million votes. And you hear that and you think, why vote? It's not like that. But if you vote, if you get your mail in, we know that you banked it. They move on to people who are Trump sympathetic, but may or may not vote. All right, it's time, though. Dan's cooked up something special for...
It's Dom's Money Melody.
Where's all the money gone?
That is correct, Dan. What are we playing for today here?
Henry, you got that prize in front of you there?
Yeah, all right.
It's the pair of tickets to see the Brubeck Brothers Quartet
That's
on November
right.
2nd at the Zlock Performing Arts Center on the campus of Bucks County Community College.
Thank you very much, Henry.
The Zlock. Yes, Dan, what's the story here?
Yeah, Dom, so today we're talking about things that would never fly in Philadelphia. Can't go for that. Well, it made me think of the great Hall & Oates, a fantastic local group, and I thought maybe we'd play a song by them in a different language and see if our listeners can guess it, bringing back one of the favorite styles of the Money Melody. So, Dom, we're going to take listeners to a country that is the shared heritage of filmmaker David Lynch, actor Matt Damon, Vanessa Williams, and potentially Western legend Buffalo Bill. So, Dom, we're going to play this song sung in a different language. We want to know what language it's being sung in. Take a listen.
Olet rikkain, rahat uudittaa, takataskun pian tyhjentänyt oot. Lompakon ainut oot vanhan ukon, avaimen sait kassakaapin lukon. Olet rikkain, kivet kimmeltää, takataskun pian tyhjentänyt oot. Ei lantti pantti sua kauaa, kanna ei kauaa.
Down today, we're looking for what the language this song is being covered in. Again, it's a shared heritage of Matt Damon, David Lynch, Vanessa Williams, potentially, maybe, we don't know for sure, a Western legend, Buffalo Bill, and I'll put it out there, Dom, you also mentioned a great education system, I think this country's known for as well.
It's known as the best in the world.
There he goes.
Other than Dom Giordano University, which is on hiatus.
So give us that language.
Give us that language right now, and you can go off the Zlock. 855-839-1210, AT&T, and Verizon Wireless. All you need to do is just push pound 1210.
Kale and Company weekday mornings 6 till 10.
I heard a press conference with Terrell Parker, the mayor here. She went on and on about the lawlessness in Philadelphia and the gun violence. What are you doing about it, sweetheart?
Yeah, that was my rant about a month ago. I'm done hearing about your lip service.
How long has she been in office for?
9 months. Where's the Philadelphia Inquirer and all these local media people? Are they grilling her? Do we know about that? Is there any tough questions coming her way? Or are we still in the honeymoon phase?
I've seen nothing in 9 months.
Yeah, although they report that crime is down.
Start your day with Kale and Company. Weekday mornings 6 till 10 on Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, and the free Odyssey app.
Dawn Stensland here. We're off to paradise once again, the Italian Riviera, on a gastronomical event that only Conservative Tours can deliver. Join me for 11 luxurious days with the professionals from Conservative Tours, the best tour operator in Italy. A+ rating with the BBB. Portofino, Rapallo, Santa Margherita, Ligure, Tuscany, and the brilliant Cinque Terre, $53.78. That includes your airfare, dining events at the winery in Tuscany, even an authentic farm visit to see Parmesan cheese being crafted by hand. Toll free 888-733-9494 or go to conservativetours.com. Hidden Italian villages you've never seen, like Giacomo Puccini, San Gimignano, the Leaning Tower of Pisa, Florence, and Milan. And concluding on the Lakes region with Bellagio, Orta, and Isola Bella. Join me next spring in Italy. I'll see you in Cinque Terre. Tell them Dawn sent you.
The leaves are changing color, the air is crisp, and it's the perfect time to fall into savings on a luxurious new Volvo from Cherry Hill Volvo. Take advantage of these incredible offers. A 2025 XC40 for only $435 per month on a 36-month lease. A 2024 C40 for only $329 per month on a 36-month lease. Or get 3.99% financing on select new Volvos for 72 months. See store for details. Customers enjoy the stress-free and satisfactory experience Cherry Hill Volvo provides. Cherry Hill Volvo, where relationships matter.
Seems everyone has an opinion on where the stock market is going, but where should you be going? Find out with Joe Yakovich on The Heart of Your Money, Sundays at 9 on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
At PGW, safety is essential to delivering clean, reliable natural gas to Philadelphia homes and businesses. If you smell gas, call PGW at 215-235-1212.
Honey, I got a guy to fix our roof.
Oh no. The last time your friend recommended a guy, we had to get the repairs repaired.
It's not just any guy, it's PJ Fitzpatrick. Look, they have thousands of 5-star reviews and over 40 years of experience. PJ can fix leaky windows, broken siding, rotted trim, and damaged leaking roofs in just one day. Plus, PJ Fitzpatrick can even clean our gutters.
That's my kind of guy. What are you waiting for? Visit trustpj.com and set up an appointment today. TrustPJ.com.
The 2024 presidential election is here. With the race neck and neck and with so much at stake, MSNBC has the in-depth coverage and analysis you need. Our reporters are on the ground, and we're breaking down the numbers until every last vote is counted, providing you with insight on what it all means for the future of our country. Watch coverage of the 2024 presidential election Tuesday, November 5th, and listen to MSNBC Live on the free Odyssey app or wherever you watch MSNBC.
Calling on Blackwood to follow 1210 WPHT on the free Odyssey app. Download it now.
It's Dom Money Melody.
Where has all the money gone? Show me the money.
All right, Dan, let's hear it one more time, what we're looking for.
Yeah, Dom, we're looking for the language that this song's being covered in today. Again, it's a shared country of origin at some point for Matt Damon, David Lynch, Vanessa Williams, and maybe Buffalo Bill, the Western legend. Take a listen. We want the language.
Olet rikkain, rahat uudittaa, takataskun pian tyhjentänyt oot. Lompakon ainut oot vanhan ukon, avaimen sait kassakaapin lukon. Olet rikkain, kivet kimmeltää, takataskun pian tyhjentänyt oot. Ei lantti pantti kanna sua kauaa.
All right, let's start with Robesier in Overbrook. What's the language?
Wow. Korean.
No.
Oh.
Yeah.
Good try.
I thought it was Japanese at first when I first played it, but no, it's I'm going to say it's not a country of it's not an Asian country.
Okay, not Asian. Ed in Pennsauken. Ed, what's the language?
Welsh.
Not Welsh.
Yeah, that would sound. Yeah, that's not.
Think
close.
of a long time, I guess, rivalry you'd say with the Russians.
Well, think
or
of
ally.
Yes.
Maybe?
No, they're not. No,
Yeah.
think of people that almost beat them.
There you go.
Despite the odds. Let's go to Scott in Bucks County. All right, Scott, what's the language?
Could it be Swedish?
No, pretty close.
Very
But the
close.
Swedes wouldn't have a chance. So that and all the
It's true.
Scandinavian countries are different. This one is a lot tougher. Russians had a lot of trouble. Gina in Washington Crossing. All right, Gina, what's the country? What's the
Hello.
language?
I'm going with that Lithuanian. That language?
Oh,
No, they're pretty tough too. All right, greatest school system in the world. People say. All right, Dan.
Scandinavian country. When
Yeah,
you talk
right.
about happiest countries in the world,
Right.
this is often near the top of it, Dom.
The capital begins with an H. Let's go to Steve in Alabama. Steve, what is the country?
Oh, is it Norway?
Oh, there's one left.
We're running out of Scandinavia.
2 out of 3 have been taken. so
Maryland
far.
out of Delaware. Hey, Maryland, what's the country?
Finland?
Yes, it is the Finns. Nicely played, Maryland. We'll put you on hold, and you're going off. You won a pair of tickets to see the Brubeck Brothers Quartet on November 2nd at the Zlock Performing Arts Center on the campus of Bucks County Community College. It is a great venue. We love holding events there. Okay, so anybody else, if you're headed over to the McDonald's, give us an update from the McDonald's over on Street Road, Trevose, Lower Southampton. Apparently, they have security there, more than apparently, threats, issues of boycotts, etc. Although, I think net, they've done very well so far that we know. Jim Worthington, who brokered the deal with the guy to get Trump there, smooth things out. Our buddy, he's working on the statement. We'll let you know as soon as he puts that out. He was going to pay one of these nights coming up from 5 to 7 free through the drive-thru, as I understand it. We'll, get him on with the statement. But you on your own, if you're headed anywhere near there, call us and support them. And again, I'm going to be interested to see how the media tells us about this and how they talk about. We just brought you Linda Kearns talking about this maniac, alleged, in Philadelphia, making threats to some woman who was running the poll watchers training in Western Pennsylvania. They know the bottom line is Pennsylvania here, and they know they're on the ropes. You heard Sean Parnell say, Bob Casey Jr., other than in Philadelphia, he's afraid to, or Scranton, I guess, is running ads saying, he supports Trump on trade and tariffs with China. He brings Trump into ads. And we played you what he just said in September. He's a threat. It's a threat to democracy. Here is Laura Trump on the Charlemagne the God show, The Breakfast Club, talking about, cut 19 this will be, how phony are these threat to democracy charges. But there's one wrinkle to these. You have people out there that don't think they're phony. They think going after Trump or Trump supporters, even threatening to skin them alive, allegedly, is the way to go. They're preventing Hitler and the goose steppers going down Street Road. There were upwards of 10,000 people there. Are they all Nazis? Well, they're led to believe this, and they're called in their own way to either threaten or actually take action. Here's what Laura Trump said on The Breakfast Club.
As a quote-unquote politician.
Yeah. Well, he was friends with everybody. I mean, I think if you look back at Donald Trump's history, he last night we were at the Al Smith dinner, and he was right there next to Chuck Schumer, and he said to Chuck Schumer, who's obviously a Democrat senator, he said, I gave Chuck his first check ever when he was running for like assemblyman or something. So, yeah,
That's why Chuck was laughing so hard. Remember we asked why Chuck was laughing so hard? Chuck was laughing, boy.
I don't be liking the optics of that. Only reason I say I don't like the optics of that is because when you hear people like Chuck Schumer say things like Trump is a threat to democracy, but then you're sitting next to him yucking it up. Why would you be yucking it up with somebody who you consider a threat to democracy?
Well, you have to ask yourself that question, don't you? Maybe it's all scare tactics. Maybe it's a lot of fear mongering. Charlemagne. What I can tell you is I know Donald Trump. I have known him for 16 years, and Chuck Schumer's known him a lot longer than I have. And I think he knows full well he's not a threat to democracy. And you don't even have to take my word for it. Look at what he did when he was in the White House.
All right, I give a lot of credit. She's going to be on the show tomorrow, going on that show Kamala Harris is not going on shows like that are opposite her. She wouldn't even go on that show at this point, probably. Now, speaking of shows, the signs are that Trump is going to do the Joe Rogan show this Friday. And that is going to be interesting. The Spotify numbers say 14 million listeners. So it is a lot of people. I don't expect a grilling or anything like that. Here's what Rogan said, I believe, yesterday, Cut 17, about Trump and the government.
I think they're really terrified about Trump. It's not necessarily even that he's a Republican. It's much more that he's a guy that is not going to play the game. And that when he gets in there, is having Elon come in and do some sort of a government efficiency agency. They're terrified of that.
Yeah.
Because it's not efficient.
Yep.
You know? And he's going to come in with like that Tesla mindset. It's like you're working 16 hours a day and you're sleeping on the couch.
Yep.
We're here to get some shit done. And you try applying that to government.
All right. So, yeah, that is the Uniparty. Mitch McConnell and the boys and the rest of that, that's what is the biggest fear there, as opposed to, well, he's a Republican type of stuff. All right, Joe in Columbus, New Jersey, Talk Radio 1210. Hey, Joe, what do you have today?
Hey, should Philly ever host a Super Bowl and the Cowboys would be fortunate enough to get into that Super Bowl, they would not be able to stay anywhere near the city. They'd be totally rejected.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah, that's a very good one. Imagine Chris Christie coming to a Super Bowl with the Cowboys in it in Philadelphia. Oh, my God.
Another one wouldn't be allowed anywhere near that stadium.
That is a good one, Joe.
Chris Christie, who's got nothing going except I could be tougher on Trump. He's not tougher on anybody's slub.
Which is less likely, the Cowboys make it to the Super Bowl or that we actually get to host one? I mean, they're going all warm climates.
Yeah,
but, getting
to host one, there would be no way. They did Detroit for other reasons. Yeah, they're not going to do that again. Yeah, I don't see that.
I mean, they did New York not too long ago.
Yeah, it's New York. I don't see. I know there's the anniversary coming up. No, I think somebody has that for that time. All right, Guy Shirocky is coming up, our favorite pundit, columnist, etc., with something you can do if you're still reluctant on mail-in balloting, about where you would take it and how you can deal with that. And also, he's the guy that gave us a pretty good ballpark. I'm going to ask him to do it again. If we hear going into Election Day, we're down X number in mail-in balloting, X number of mail-in ballots that have been banked, what that tells us about that day. Now, I think you should vote no matter what. But you heard Sean Parnell talk about where it is now, the request. If that holds, and I think it will, then if we have our turnout on Election Day, it's going to be a win here in Pennsylvania. They know it. That's why it's anything could happen. All right, phone lines. So get in. Get in. So the portal is apparently operational, going full bore here in Love Park. Hit us with something, though, that would not fly in Philadelphia. Could be a person. We haven't got too many persons. Or something that people would not do. They would reject it. 855-839-1210.
Low 50s overnight, clear conditions. Tomorrow, high of 80 in the sunshine. Thursday, a little bit more seasonable temperature, high of 65. Friday, 66, mostly sunny there too. Saturday, we might see a few clouds, but none of that rain that we so desperately need.
Hey, Dawn Stensland here. You've heard me talk about Chapman Windows, Doors, and Siding for years now. How much I love the work they've done in my home. Love the new patio doors. If you're thinking of updating your front entry door, right now is the perfect time. For the month of October, Chapman is giving you the chance to receive a $1,000 credit toward a new front door. You simply send them a photo of your current front door. Everyone who sends in a photo gets $500 credit toward a new door, while the person with the door most in need for some TLC receives that $1,000 in credit. An updated front door can really change the curb appeal of your home and increase the resale value. Whether you're looking for a single door, double door, door with side lights like I have, their experienced project consultants can help you choose the perfect new door for your home. If you or somebody you know are looking for windows, doors, siding, shutters, hardware, just give them a call or text 610-431-8898, ChapmanWindowsDoors.com, ChapmanWindowsDoors.com. Tell them Dawn sent you.
When you're hiring for your business, ZipRecruiter's powerful matching technology makes finding qualified candidates for your job easy. This made us wonder, what if the rest of the world was as easy as ZipRecruiter? Math problems wouldn't be so problematic.
K equals 42.
Escape rooms? Elementary. And summiting Everest would be a walk in the park. In the meantime, if you want to make your hiring easier, use ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Simple. So, see what the world is like when ZipRecruiter does the hard work of hiring for you. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/free to try ZipRecruiter for free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Medicare is making important changes in 2025. Independence Blue Cross can help. Our Medicare Advantage plans include premiums as low as $0, dental, vision, hearing, and prescription drug coverage. The deadline to enroll is December 7th. Visit ibxmedicare.com/radio. Independence Blue Cross offers PPO, HMO, POS, and HMO Medicare Advantage plans with a Medicare contract. Enrollment in Independence Blue Cross PPO, HMO, POS, and HMO Medicare Advantage plans depends on contract renewal.
The following is a paid commercial message.
It's happening here in Pennsylvania. Sanctuary cities are releasing violent illegal immigrants onto our streets with the help of Bob Casey. Casey voted repeatedly to fund these dangerous sanctuary cities. Casey's policy let more illegals, more criminals loose in our neighborhoods, making our families less safe. Worse, instead of deporting criminal illegals, Casey voted to give them amnesty. Casey's amnesty would give illegal immigrants your Social Security and Medicare. That's right, Casey would give your benefits to illegals, but he'd also make you pay more. Casey voted for higher taxes on seniors' Social Security benefits. Seniors can't afford higher taxes? Bob Casey, taxing you to pay illegals. It's just another Casey con job. It's time for a change. It's time to fire Bob Casey. Senate Leadership Fund paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising, not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. SenateLeadershipFund.org.
With so much uncertainty in the world today, you may find yourself wondering, is now even the right time to retire?
So many people are waiting, and those folks are going to be waiting a really long time, I hate to say, because there's no perfect time. The market is always unpredictable and volatile.
Fortunately, Jim Cipriotti has been helping get people to, through, and beyond retirement for over 25 years. And each week, he wants to help give you that freedom to retire. Listen to Freedom to Retire with Jim Cipriotti, Saturday mornings at 9 and Sunday afternoons at 5 on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Need to hire quality candidates fast? You need Indeed. Their video interview tool makes it easy and effortless to meet with candidates. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
Talk Radio 1210 WPHT, broadcasting from the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter.
All right, Dom Giordano Show. Guy Shiraki's latest column at Broad and Liberty is inspirational for people to buy into voting by mail that we've talked about. But I'm also going to ask him about some of the numbers as we head into Election Day. Sean Parnell was here talking about the tremendous progress Republicans have made on this. In other words, if you're down, it seems staggering, right? 300,000 votes on Election Day. Is it over and Democrats win? I don't think so. They'll give you an idea of the parameters in case you hear a lot of noise out there. I think Guy has gamed this out very well. Guy joins us on Talk Radio 1210. Hey, Guy, welcome back. Great column at Broad and Liberty.
Good afternoon. Good to be back. Am I allowed? I don't want to throw you off. Am I allowed to make my guess about what Philadelphia's going to get?
Yeah, right. Yeah, go right ahead.
Guy, come on.
See, I have to appeal to the listeners because when I post on Twitter, Dan never picks me, so I have to go. Sort of like Donald Trump, I have to go right over. So what will never work is ending double parking in South Philly.
Yes, that's exactly.
Yeah, a different mayor, a different administration tries it, and it doesn't work. So we will always have double parking in South Philly no matter what.
Yeah, or there's a different news director. I saw this up close, and Guy, when I see you sometime, I'll give you names and all. And they were doing this new 5-minute segment or something. That's the first one they started to think about. as if this is revolutionary to them. We're going to park in the middle of Broad Street in South Philly. That's it. And that could be a potential winner here.
No, because when he first said double parking, what I thought he was talking about was he was defending the people that like sit in the middle with their hazard lights on and just pull up and block an entire lane. But you're talking about right in the center of Broad. Yeah, okay, that's never going to be taken away.
On Jackson Street, you had to go into Nick's Roast Beef. Everybody knows that, and they would move the car. That's how it works. But Guy, this is one final thing to convince. I think we've won on this, sort of. The reluctant mail-in ballot person who still has time to do this, then it's secure, it's banked, and that we go after somebody else. So what are you proposing in this column?
Sure. I mean, it's something you and I have discussed now for years. I mean, I've been talking about it since 2021 when we lost the Supreme Court race. I keep coming back to the importance of trying to do this. So now most counties now have, I know it sounds silly, but they have in-person mail-in voting, which essentially means, look, there's the traditional way. You can go online. People can go online today and apply for a mail-in ballot. So they submit that application. They'll get an email confirmation, and eventually the ballot will come to them in the mail. They'll fill it out, and then they take it to one of these infamous drop boxes. They put it in the mail, or they can go to their county courthouse and drop it off. But now there's another way, in-person mail-in voting. There's at least one location in every county. In Chester County, there's 3 of them. In Philadelphia, there's 9 of them. You can go in person today, bring your ID, and thank God you have to bring your ID, but you can fill out an application on the spot, and as soon as it's approved, they will hand you a ballot. You can fill out the ballot, put it in the security envelope, hand it back. And so you're handing your ballot to an election official. So now you've saved all the time. You've taken all the other steps. You don't have to worry about your application getting lost. You don't have to worry about the ballot getting lost getting to you. You don't have to worry about the ballot getting lost getting back. Go in person, fill out the application, fill out the ballot, and bank it. So hopefully that puts away a lot of fears, and another way for us to close the gap so that the mail-in ballot lead they have is not so overwhelming.
Absolutely. And let's get to that now. One time many moons ago, I wrote myself a note. You talked about going into 2020 an election. If we start to hear what has been banked by Democrats versus Republicans, it would have to be historic. And even then, we might not win with an election day turnout. So what are some of the numbers you think that bode well for Republicans?
Yeah, in addition to the voter registration numbers, meaning the pool of Republicans has gotten larger. I mean, all the work you've done, Scott Presler's done. So on mail-in, in 2020, Joe Biden was ahead by 1.4 million votes on Election Day. I mean, it's a phenomenon. Trump won Election Day by 1.3 million. It wasn't enough. So 1.4 million of a gap was too much. That's sort of a 100-yard dash. They start out at the 90-yard line, and we almost caught them, but we didn't. Right now, as of Monday, their advantage is only 300,000, and normally the ratio is 5-1, and right now it's 2.5-1. So it's changing daily, and people are, in Chester County, they're in line having to wait an hour to do this, what I call, in-person mail-in voting. But right now, with 13 days to go, you're not looking at anything like 2020 numbers on any scale. However, there's 13 days to go. And I always say the Democrats and their operatives are looking at the same numbers you and I are. And they have 13 days, $1 billion, and tons of allies to close the gap.
Yeah, we had Sean Parnell on. He made the same point you are, though, Guy, on this. He didn't have the exact, but to get to that number, I am very doubtful they're going to be able to do it. I just don't see it. I think it indicates their operation is still humming, but it's Kamala Harris this time around. It's a little bit different. Wanted to talk with you about closing the deal, the closing argument, though, in Chester County and our suburbs, which are pivotal. The Suffolk poll out today, Guy, is incredible that they have Trump actually ahead with Latinos by 11, 12 points. He has 17% of African Americans to 72 for Harris, which is unbelievably good. It's these women in the suburbs and maybe some men. Is it abortion still? Is it the Trump personality? what in the last number of days is something Republicans should be trying to hit home with?
Well, to answer your point, I'll say it this way. Look, I still think the audience in the suburbs, if you're going to move the needle, are Hispanics, Hispanic Americans, Indian Americans, and I think parents, women who are moms. So if there's, and that's where you see J.D. Vance or even Trump going to events with moms. So if we're going to be a little more laser targeted, it's those audiences. But the truth of the matter is, Kamala Harris is spending all of her time in the suburbs doing these staged, structured, fake events. I'm talking about staged events. She's doing literally
predetermined,
guy. Halls.
Predetermined is the word. Yes.
Yeah, predetermined. Yeah, where literally you have a town hall where when people raise their hands, the moderator explains, "I'm sorry, we're not taking questions. This is a town hall. This is a play. You're here to watch the play. You're not here to participate in the theater."
It's Maria Shriver, the obvious connection, the nanny, and Schwarzenegger, and the second gentleman, and the nanny.
Yeah, so I mean, they can't write it well because they're all staffed by people who were born. No disrespect to some people in the studio, but they're dealing with a lot of people on the left who think history started 10 years ago, and they don't understand any of this. Some of the Harris people don't look, but the real issue to me for Trump and Vance is the city. Even with Uncle Joe at the top of the ticket, Trump grew his numbers in the city. I think Harris is making a historic, monumental miscalculation in traipsing around the suburbs with Liz Cheney.
I agree.
As I've tried to describe, she's trying to squeeze more water out of the sponge. I don't think there's any Republican or any suburban voter that has an opinion on Donald Trump that is going to be persuaded by Liz Cheney. Anybody who's cheering Liz Cheney, they already made that. I think she's making an enormous miscalculation not going to Philadelphia. And I think that's where Trump and Vance are going to move numbers. They've gotten to 17.9. If they can hit 20, and that's one of the things I'll be looking for Election Day, if Trump can get to 20 in Philadelphia, which I know may sound silly to people listening, but if Trump can get to 20% of the vote in Philadelphia, I don't know where Kamala Harris goes to make it up because she's not going to get John Fetterman-like numbers in rural Pennsylvania. Picking Tim Walz was a complete disaster. The only place she can turn to now is the suburbs, and I don't think it's there for her. So I think Trump grows in the rural areas. I think Trump grows in the city. And even if he holds serve in the suburbs, given all the effort of the Democrats, I think if Trump holds serve in the suburbs, he's fine because he's going to grow in rural Pennsylvania and he's going to grow in the city of Philadelphia, and that's probably your margin of victory.
I agree. And surprisingly, though, Bob Brady on the air bet me a lobster dinner. I just said a pizza. That Kamala Harris would come out of Philadelphia with a 500,000 cushion.
Never. Joe Biden didn't come out. Joe Biden, who was our third senator, who's been on television more than Bob Casey over the last 30 years, couldn't get to a 500,000 margin. If you think Kamala Harris from San Francisco, who's yet to really campaign in an African-American neighborhood, whose answer to Philadelphia problems is to bring in Bruce Springsteen, if Bob Brady and the gang in Philadelphia can produce 500,000 votes for Kamala Harris when they couldn't do it for Joe Biden, after inflation, after crime, after failing schools, after illegal immigration, then if they're not cheating, they're producing a turnout model that Tammany Hall couldn't do. I don't think that's going to happen. I
don't either, Guy. We'll have to invite you. Broad and Liberty is the latest. Where's the best way to find all things with Mr. Suburbs?
PA Suburbs Guy. You can find my latest Broad and Liberty today. I talk about the case for in-person mail-in, and I'm going to have a whole bunch of columns talking about Harris's miscalculation in ignoring Philadelphia. And it's because, frankly, I think she's more comfortable talking to suburban Republicans than families in West Philly. And I'm going to have a few columns talking about that.
Great insight. Thank you, Guy, very much.
All right, thanks.
All right, that is interesting, too. Why not in Philadelphia? And they're telling African-American males, and we may be on that tomorrow, have to vote for Kamala Harris, but she is not going to Philadelphia. All right, in this fracking story, I told you the climate czar for Harris goes to Politico and says, well, she's not going to ban fracking per se, but there'll be no advancement of fossil fuels. from where Biden is right now, which is the problem. Wow. All right, phone lines. Get in on the lightning round. 855-839-1210 is how you get in. The NBA is back, and FanDuel, in partnership with Valley Forge Casino, America's #1 sportsbook, wants you to catch all the action because right now, FanDuel is giving all users 3 months of NBA League Pass. All you have to do to catch every tip-off and buzzer beater is place any $5 bet on the NBA. Think of some of the storylines. I know I'll be watching tomorrow night the Sixers with the new Big Three. Are they all going to play?
No, only Maxey.
I don't know about that. We'll see.
Oh, it's already confirmed. No Embiid, no Paul George.
Stop raining on the parade here. It's good watching tomorrow night. But the Sixers are a compelling story. And if you're new to FanDuel, just visit FanDuel.com/Dom to get 3 months of NBA League Pass courtesy of FanDuel. Make every moment more with FanDuel, official sportsbook partner of the NBA. FanDuel Sportsbook is the official partner of 1210 WPHT. You have to be 21 plus. Present in Pennsylvania. After a 3-month free trial, the full price of League Pass will be automatically charged monthly. Cancel anytime, no refunds, terms, restrictions, and embargoes apply. Limit 1 pass per customer. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem, 1-800-GAMBLER.
If you missed WPHT's Politics and Pints with Dom Giordano and Donald Trump Jr., now we have your chance to see it from the comfort of your own home.
When your grocery costs go up by 20%, it hurts you. It doesn't change anything for Taylor Swift. It's not going to stop her from flying on her Global Express. I don't know that she's in tune.
This Thursday night at 8, you can watch it in its entirety on YouTube. Just go to youtube.com/@1210WPHT. Click the subscribe button. That's Thursday night at 8, exclusively on YouTube at 1210 WPHT.
You may have heard, Wawa has pizza. And right now, Wawa has pizza at a really great price.
Wawa has personal pizza for a night of gaming.
And it's only $6.
Wawa has pizza for when we don't want to cook.
And a 14-inch is $8.
Wawa has pizza for after practice.
A 16-inch to feed the team, $10. Right now, get a personal 14 or 16-inch Wawa pizza for just $6, $8, or $10. Wawa has pizza for all at a really great price.
Hey, smart person. Yeah, you. You've been around the block. You've seen a thing or two. You know what's what. So you know then that deals on HVAC system installations don't come around every day. Well, today's not every day. So right now at Hutchinson Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing, you won't have to pay a thing until 2025. Zero, zip, nada to get a new HVAC system. In other words, you pay zero. And the same goes for interest payments. Zero until 2025. Book now at hutchcomfort.com.
This is Dr. Marianne Ritchie, your radio doctor. Every Saturday afternoon at 5, I talk with doctors and medical specialists from around the country to discuss the latest information about heart disease, cancer prevention, topics in women's health, pediatrics, mental health, and more. Then you can make better decisions for yourself and your loved ones. Your radio doctor, Saturdays at 5, here on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT, because your health is your wealth.
Wawa's Hot Turkey is back. And it's bringing the comforting flavors of the season with it. Sink into savory stuffing, cozy up with sweet cranberry sauce, and relax into some warm, buttery mashed potatoes. Grab your pillows and blankets because Hot Turkey is back. Plus, get your cozy cravings satisfied from the comfort of your bed with $0 delivery when you order on the Wawa app. Try the Wawa Gobbler today in a hoagie or bowl for a limited time. Gotta have a Wawa.
Hi, I'm Angie Hicks, co-founder of Angie. And one thing I've learned is that you buy a house, but you make it a home. Because with every fix, update, and renovation, it becomes a little more your own. So you need all your jobs done well. For nearly 30 years, Angie has helped millions of homeowners hire skilled pros for the projects that matter. From plumbing to electrical, roof repair to deck upgrades. So leave it to the pros who will get your jobs done well. Hire high-quality certified pros at Angie.com.
Space may be the final frontier, but it's also what a lot of us lack in our basement or garage. By switching to a Navien tankless water heater, not only will you have all the hot water you need whenever you need it, but you'll gain storage area as well. Maybe a place to display your space collectibles. Highly logical. Learn about Navien's series of high-efficiency tankless water heaters and how they don't just save space, but save dollars on your utility bills too. For more, go to tanklessmadesimple.com.
Be sure to follow Talk Radio 1210 WPHT free on the free Odyssey app. Download it now.
The time has come for the final test.
We usually call it the lightning round.
That's right, 855-839-1210. Get it now. Dom's Lightning Round is sponsored by Cherry Hill Volvo. Right now, lease a 2025 XC40 for only $435 per month for 36 months. See store for details. They always go the extra mile for their customers because relationships really matter at Cherry Hill Volvo. All right, let's go to the Earl of Tacony on the side question. Earl, what's not going to fly in Philadelphia?
Well, we do have American and Whiz and even provolone and mozzarella. But I keep thinking of Dave Huddleston's character at the end of Blazing Saddles, where we'll take the provolone and the Whiz, but we won't take the Swiss. No Swiss cheese on cheesesteaks.
All right. Yeah, that's right. John Kerry did that. He did have Swiss in addition to the cheesesteak hoagie. Let's go to Mike in Hamilton. Mike, what's yours?
Well, Mike. Speaking of cheesesteaks.
Yes.
I think, hello, I'm here.
Go ahead, Mike.
Hello.
Yes, I hear you.
Okay.
Go ahead, yes.
Speaking of cheesesteaks, Philadelphia, especially South Philadelphia, will never go for the Beyond cheesesteak with the faux meat.
All right. Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen.
Vegetarian cheesesteaks?
Yeah, that's not going to. Oh, my God. That's a good one. Very good. Gary in Newtown. Hey, Gary, afternoon. What's yours today?
Oh, my God. Please bring back the beef fallow and the trans fats. They were the best fries on the planet before they did that change.
I'm going to get RFK Jr. on it for nothing else than to talk about a brilliant comment that he had on this whole McDonald's thing.
Oh, so what Philadelphians are not going to give back, they're not going to give back windshields and side windows and back windows that you can't see anything through them. You can't see anything. They're the most dangerous things on the cars these days.
I couldn't agree more, and I know Sherelle Parker, there was fining if they see her. I don't think they're doing enough on it. When we get the police chief back, we're going to ask more about it. It's revolting. It is the law. You can't be doing it, and yet it's constant. And anytime I see someone with the tinted windows, I give them a lot of space. I don't want to be near them. It's a tell. What the hell do you need tinted windows for? Again, it's ridiculous. One more. Let's go to Bill in Bucks. Bill, what's yours?
Well, Dom, I've got frozen pizza.
Very good one. Yeah, I don't think in Philadelphia, New York, place like that, we're going to get them. All right, Henry, what appealed to you today?
Yeah, so the two that stuck out to me, I think right off the bat, Joe and Exton with the mummers. I mean, it's too deeply rooted in tradition for it to go anywhere. And then I like Guy Shiraki's answer of double parking.
All right. Well, in the middle of Broad Street.
Yeah.
Dan?
I like the Mummers Parade. You're never going to remove the Mummers Parade from South Philadelphia, particularly. Joe in Columbus had a great answer. He said if they ever do the Super Bowl here in Philadelphia, the Philadelphians would never accept the Cowboys playing in that Super Bowl.
Think that's stronger?
I don't know. I kind of like the Mummers Parade from Joe.
All right, let's go with the Mummers. Okay. It has been diminished, but to outright go, that's something. All right, here's what we're doing. We're behind the scenes. We're talking with Jim Worthington. This McDonald's thing is made for us to help that guy out. Details tomorrow once Jim gets together what he wants to do around it. But to have security there that we've heard today, that shall not stand. We're on it. Richie always next for 4 big hours. Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Do you have a property that you no longer want? Maybe you inherited the property. Maybe